Oh man, well, it's really good. Family tree. Are y'all with me? Are y'all with me? Are y'all with me? Let's get it. Yeah. Oh man, what have I been on, man? What have I been on? Listen, summertime is actually linked, you know. It's got me thinking, rah. I don't even know if I really want to be busting up any shows. Do I even want to be going speakers corner? Oh man, I know you don't love that good stuff, right? But god damn it, listen, I'm enjoying life out here. I'm enjoying life. I'm enjoying life so much. Yeah, I'm like, fam, I need to actually let the family know what's really good. Because you don't support me, so let me support you back. So right about now, I'm actually opening up. Yeah, opening up the show. So if anybody like all the good subscribers that like to hit up the notification and get the likes in and all that good stuff, yeah, you lot feel free to come in. Okay, feel free to come in. I'm just gonna be in the background, just chilling. You know, it's just chilling, just chilling. I would love for you guys to come on. If you lot are free, come in and talk the good stuff. Anything that's on your minds, come in and talk. Yeah, buddy. So how can I do this? How can I do this? Yeah. So, family, literally everything that you need to have to get in and get involved with the conversation, yeah, is either in the comment section, the chat section right now. Click the link and you can come in, or simply go down into the description box, hit the link, okay, and you can be plugged straight in. So far, we got like Buddha Bingers in the building, yeah. But I want more of you guys to come in, join in, and have some fun. I'm literally leaving it open for you guys. So as soon as we got enough numbers, yeah, nice big Royal Rumble. As soon as we got enough numbers that have now tuned in, I'm gonna fade to black. I'm gonna fade out and let you guys do your thing. But first of all, let me just welcome in Buddha Bing. What's good, family?
Yes, Kalam, how you doing, man? You okay?
There you are, there you are. Chance to me.
Yes, Kelly Allen, how you doing?
Hey, what's up, man?
So it's building up, it's building up. I was gonna kick back and hope for it to go smoothly.
And we've got Noble A is here as well. So hopefully it will go nice and smoothly. We don't have no trolls because I'm actually opening this thing up for you guys to have fun. I know we haven't really had any Titans TV conversations for a little while, or shows, talking Titan shows. So please come in, join in, and get it in, Mike. Get it in. If anything's on your mind, let it loose. But remember, it's a family-friendly show.
Yeah. Okay. So listen, I'm gonna ask a question then. If that be the case, if you could have one person that you'd like to hear speak at Speaker's Corner, who would it be?
Go on, family. What you not saying?
Kelly Allen, who would it be? Mr. Noble?
I'm thinking.
Thinking. All right, let's make it interesting. Let's make it dead or alive.
I'll tell you this, yeah. I would have the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. That's what I would have.
Well, you know what? Leo Muhammad might be up there tomorrow, in fact. So, next best thing. Interesting fact. You know what? Louis Farrakhan. You know he's banned from the UK, yeah?
Yep.
Do you know who his lawyer was that was representing him?
Nope.
Sadiq Khan. Sadiq Khan was it? Yeah, it was his lawyer. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It was Louis Farrakhan's lawyer.
I never knew that.
Gabs, Jacoby, Medicine Man.
Nope. He's there. But
Yo.
What are you saying? You okay?
Yes, what's happening?
Not a lot, no.
What's popping? Was there a show or something? Are we live? What's going on? Hello?
Yeah, we live, baby.
Yeah, live, man.
The question was, who would you like to see on Speaker's Corner?
Who would I like to see to come to Speaker's Corner?
Yeah, Seems the question is for anybody who comes up in your mind.
Who would I like to see at Speaker's Corner? Speaker's Corner.
Do you know who mine would be? Mine would be George Galloway.
What are you talking about? Were you talking about anyone in the world or just to
Yeah,
do
yeah.
with-
Anyone in the world, dead or alive. I reckon George Galloway, he seems to have a lot to talk about. I think he'd be interesting for him to see certain individuals over there.
You know
Oh,
what?
are you talking about individuals like to do with topics that we speak about at Speaker's Corner or just
Bro,
any
it can be anyone you want. Lily Savage, anyone you want, man.
well like even like football players or something like that.
Bro, if you want David Beckham to go out there and try and have a conversation with certain man in Speaker's Corner, then yeah, that would be quite funny, I suppose. But yeah, whoever you want, bro.
Do you know who I'd want? You know who I'd like to come down there?
Don't say Justin Bieber, bro. Please don't.
No. Do you know what? Yeah. Two people. I would like probably one would be Ngozi, but then my second person would be as well. It's probably Brother Infundishi. If you know who that is.
I think I want to have a debate between Kalam and Elon Musk.
No, that'd be a good conversation. I don't think it'd be a debate. I think it'd be a good
Conversation, you know.
Yeah.
You know who else? Last person. The finisher of all finishers. This would be my top pick right here. Christian Prince, baby. Christian Prince.
Oh my god. Wow.
Oh man.
Yeah.
My man, he's deadly, bro. He's deadly still.
Shut down.
Bro, who's that? Raza? What's going on, Raza?
What you saying? Salam, Axe. What you saying?
Hold on. I'm my last person, Imam Tawhidi.
Oh gosh, bro, that guy dangerous, man. That guy's goes too much trouble, bro.
Finished.
That guy, bro, he's a scary guy, bro.
Bro, Speaker's Corner, yeah, won't be the same after that, you know.
Well,
Everything
that guy, he won't leave no one. He will murk the Shias and the Sunnis. My man would murk everyone, bro.
Hey.
Hey,
You can go through. Let me keep quiet now. You lot gay in.
So what's going on, man? Still, what's going on?
Well, Kalam, I still wanted to ask you, did you saw the face, Steve Brown? Did you saw that I sent the email to you?
Oh shit, you stuck it on me like that live on air, you know. You know, everybody's gonna know that raw. You know, by the way, family, a quick interlude, yeah. We got 66 people tuned in, 666 and all that. Can we get some more likes up in the building, please, family? We only got 15 people that's hitting the like button. Please, man, we got a nice, diverse panel that's going to have a nice Royal Rumble type discussion or debates going on. Show us the love, baby. Show us that you're here for the love and hit the like button, baby. Come on, and share this with your friends and family as well, man. Let us know that you're here to support. Let's get it. Yeah.
You know what? We're on this panel now, yeah? So, Gabs.
Yo, what's happening?
Gabs, you might as well go for the African thing today, bro.
Oh, you want me to go straight into that, yeah?
Go to the African thing, bro. I'm hearing it.
Okay. Do you know what would be good actually, yeah? Because let me know your thoughts. Obviously, everyone in the chat, peace everyone in the chat room. What the brothers are speaking about is the conversation we had. How long was that? I think that was last week, wasn't it? Last week, was it last week Wednesday?
Yeah.
Last week sometime anyway. It was discussion that I brought up with black people or black Africans getting back in touch with their culture and heritage, and dealing with dealing with me growing up in South London and some of the brothers and sisters in South London and seeing the whole conversion, what was going on and what was taking place with the gangs and stuff. So he heard and he wanted to chime in. So yeah, Raza, you can jump in and add to some of the points that are brought up. That discussion, bro.
So yeah, I remember I listened to it briefly. I didn't listen to all of it, but I did catch bits of it, and it was an interesting convo, bro. Because when we were growing up, bro, we just heard about this next movement, bro. We just heard about this SMS movement, bro. We were growing up, we were young, and you know, them days, bro. No, the religion there wasn't as much hype around the religions as there is now. It was, bro, everyone's religion, everyone's what you are, and that's it. Then all this, you know, political stuff started happening in the world. Extremism happened, terrorism happened, Islam started hitting the media, and then suddenly you just, you know, a lot more people were just starting to get involved in religion, you know, and there was a specific movement in South, SMS movement. What did they used to call themselves? What, South Muslim soldiers? No.
That must be a young thing because I've never heard of that.
Something like that. South. I think there was SMS. I think so. I think it was. I think
You
that's
know
what
what?
it
You know
meant.
what? They were called Southman Syndicate still. Southman Syndicate, and then they become South, something like that, innit?
Yeah, South Syndicate, and then
Yeah, that's how you know. That's how you man know I know the thing, innit? Southman Syndicate, bro.
yeah, bringing me, bringing me back.
Bro, there was a hype around them, bro. There was like this, bro. These man are the, like, you get me. Then bare of them started becoming Muslim. Then people started saying they're the South Muslim soldiers, and there was this ghetto aura around them where they were Muslims, but they were ghetto. And like for people that know the tradition back in the day, that was kind of new, bro. Because if you're them days,
Sorry,
Alhamdulillah,
Raza.
yeah.
Can someone be a Muslim and ghetto at the same time? Is that possible?
Yeah, you see, this is exactly what I was going to come on to, because in them days, Muslims and Islam had in terms of the overall mainstream view, everyone had a very good opinion on Islam them days. It was like, yeah, if you're Muslim, like I've got African friends, bro. I've got Nigerian, Ghanaian friends, and they tell me, bro, they go, back in the day, if you're a Muslim, like in our country, it used to be like, no, all right, bro, we know what you believe. You're respectful people. So there was like a good image amongst about from non-Muslims to Muslims, like, oh, you lot keep your promises. You don't lie. You don't cheat. You don't fight. They had a good image, bro. So it was one of those ones where Muslim guys that were ghetto, it was like, wow, bro, what is this? Because that goes completely against the religion. Like, I remember, you know, it's not, Tupac was a smart guy, bro. So referencing Tupac doesn't detract anything from intellectuality, because Tupac, I think he was offered a role in a film, and they offered it to him, and they said to him, you got to be a Muslim gangbanger. So, and obviously in America they use the word gangbanger, so basically like a gangster type of guy. And Tupac goes, Muslim gangbanger, what are you trying to do? You can't be Muslim and be a gangbanger at the same time. I refuse that role. Do you get it? Because it was just known, like it was just common knowledge that you can't be both, bro. You're either a gangster type of guy or you're a Muslim. Muslims don't roll like that. They don't cheat. They don't lie. They don't harm people. So alhamdulillah, Islam had a good image them days, bro. Compare that to 2018 now, bro. It's like, bro, the image, bro, the whole hype, bro. Now it just completely flipped. So it's just sad that, you know, there did used to exist this concept where people used to see Islam in a different light, bro. Now it's just hate and so much negativity, and Muslims are just doing mad shit. So it's just from every angle.
Can I ask something?
Of course, bro.
Yeah, but I really, I think I can really dig what you say, because I think what I really pity about that situation is that, those Muslims have tried to be good, and I don't know, it's a majority, but it's being projected as majority being so negative. But the bad thing is, I think, these people that just make a mess of their own religion as just say as a Muslim, they still carry the Islamic names and still representing the Islam so well as you're saying it. Am I right?
Yeah, 100%, man, 100%.
So,
all right, Raza, let me drop some questions on you, bro.
Go, bro.
This is Buddha, by the way. I got different things.
Yeah, bro, I see your picture.
Cool. All right, so let me ask you this: do you think Muslims in England have faced the same sort of prejudices and racism that Black people have faced in this country? In your opinion?
Is your when you're asking that, do you just mean about Black people only facing it in this country, or as an overall scale in history, or just this country?
No, just in this country, just in England. I'm not talking about now. I'm talking about in the past, say 50 years.
Oh, sorry to cut you guys. Yeah, can I just say something? Do you remember why that question to me already just sounds a bit off from the get go? It's because it's like you're saying you asked if Black people and
if they kind of share the same atrocity. But what about the black Muslims? Would they be put in that category?
They're
Do you
Right.
see what I'm
double.
saying?
So I'm talking about in specific the Windrush generation that came over to the UK in the 50s and 60s. They're predominantly West Indian. There weren't many African Muslims during
I'm
that
with you.
migration. So, but
I'm
there
with you.
were Kenyans, there were all these different sets, and also Pakistanis first started coming over. And
Yeah,
Sikhs.
no, you know what? Let
So
me try.
between that era of the 50s and 60s up
No,
until
you know
this
what?
day.
Yeah, Buddha, let me try to answer that. So,
Go on.
in regards to nah, you know why? Because I would say no. I would say black people have faced more of a backlash and they've had it more harder uh, than Muslims in this country as of now. I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but as of now, in terms of the UK history, black people have had it harder, bro. Because back in the day, you know, I'll tell you what the difference is. If a Muslim is discriminated against in today's society, it's done indirectly, on a sly. It's what you call constitutional. Maybe you could call it even constitutional Islamophobia.
Yeah.
It's the constitution. So that's like a new term I've made. But black people, bro, it was open, bro. What
Right.
was it? No blacks, no Irish, no
No.
dogs.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
So for black people, it was open, bro. So as of now, bro, you know, Muslims, on the way the media and the way certain groups are moving right now, I get a feeling, bro, it potentially could become, you know, bad and badder for Muslims. But as of now, historically in this country, no, man, black people had to go through a lot, bro.
All right, cool. So forgive me for this line of questioning, but I'm coming to a point. But it's gonna take a little while to get to that point. All right, cool. So all this overt racism is being pushed underground. It's more PC now. Do you know what a catalyst for that change was in society in the UK?
You meaning what, the positive change towards what's happened or
Well,
the negative?
why the overt racism kind of fell out of favor in the UK?
I would say the aspect of in the country, I would say this country either by intention or unintention, we had a mass migration of different cultures and different ethnic groups and different countries in this religion. And I think the country understood that, listen, we've now got all these different types of people in one country. We need to make it work. As in, we need to make this work, bro. So they're here now. I don't know if we plan to do this, but guess what? We told these lot to come here and work. They've worked in our country and they've worked hard here. Now we need to make this work. So now they need to mix and they need to fix. So politically, we cannot.
That's interesting what you're saying, but I think what you're saying in regards to what you're saying is more now. My observation and my viewpoint is this: during the 50s and 60s, when immigration to this country first started, en masse, a lot of racism was thrown towards black people, and there were Asian people as well. You got to realize
we used to get it as well. Yeah.
Okay, so you got to realize Asians were classified as blacks at that time. There was no
Yeah,
different.
100%.
The word they used were wogs. They were wogs and coons.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Right, cool. So then we had things like the Sweeney, the police, the police force, who used to enforce sus laws. This go around picking on young black teenagers.
They were part of it. They were basically part of it.
You know, they do it to Asian teenagers,
100%,
black teenagers.
100%.
They wouldn't differentiate. They were still black. All right, cool.
Yeah, 100%.
The only thing that changed in my observations historically were when the Brixton riots happened. When black people said, you know what, enough is enough. I don't know if I told you the story of Cherry Gross. Cherry Gross was a lady who lived in Brixton. I think Gabs might even know the story. Okay. And the police went into her house, kicked off the door, went into her house and shot her in her bed. Yeah, with her 11-year-old son lying next to her asleep. Imagine that. You're a woman in your house in Brixton and the police come and lick off a shot. The woman was paralyzed, Cherry Gross. I went to her funeral, God rest her soul. Right? I grew up thinking, you know what, I'm gonna behave myself. I ain't gonna play with police, you know, because there could be a possibility they might kick off my door and shoot my mum. That's how police were moving back in the day. I think certain people of a certain age may remember these kinds of things. All right, but the point I was trying to make is this: it was only up until black youth or the black people. So we had Tottenham with the Bullwater Farmer State riots. We had Brixton riots twice. Yeah, it's only when black people stood up and said, you know what, that can't fly no more. You can't be going on like that. Then the policing changed. The whole of the police, the reports came out. The government had to change certain things. You had all of these different changes in society and all the rest of it. I think only then Asian people actually felt, you know what, we feel safe now. We're able to do what we want to do. We're able to maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, you had
observe
to maybe
cultures
actively
and stuff like that.
you had to actively
Certain
do
times,
something to get change done. Yeah, I
exactly.
get that. I
Right.
get
So
it.
that's
'Cause
the
you know what,
point.
your concept similar to the Bradford riots. If you think about it, the Bradford riots
Exactly the same.
was
Exactly
it
the
was
same.
Asians doing the same thing, bro.
Yep. Exactly the same.
So I get what you're saying. Yeah, and
when you were saying what the change was, to me, in my mind and my understanding, that is when the change was. During those times when the uprisings of Brixton, Tottenham, and all the rest of it, it made people realize that, you know what, we're not going to sit down and let people walk all over us. You understand? And then other minorities felt comfortable as well. You get what I'm saying?
100%. No, I get it. Yep.
I was going to chime in and say something. Yeah, I get what you're saying, but I get what you're saying. But me personally, I think with that as well, I think it was the generations that was to come later on, you know, because obviously, like you said, at them times at the beginning, you know, you had the Jamaicans and the ones that came over that was here for work. They did a lot of work. Once they, you know, they put all of us down in Brixton. Once all the black people started having kids and stuff, and their kids started to grow, it's like, you know, more of that. What's that word? That, you know, that youth or that English culture that they started adapting to, you know, it started to change over generations. That's why I've seen it, like, from my generations and generations before, you know, I think you must have heard it where they say that the kids in the younger generation are getting worse. So back when I was about, you know, there was stabbings going on, but it wasn't at a high rate like how it is now. You know, I think back then it was more like baseball bats, you know, guns and stuff.
Yeah. It was more baseball bats, you know. Yeah, it was all that. You're right.
Well,
It's
you
like
know what? Let's
that
just look at that. Let's just look at that for a hot minute, if we can. Right. So we had back in the day, the mods, the rockers, the teddy boys. Yeah, these guys used to use tools all the time. You think it's a new thing that black kids are just bringing to road?
no, I'm not
You
saying that.
understand?
I'm not saying.
So
I'm
it
saying
existed. It
this is what.
existed. Yeah, I hear what
Yeah,
you're saying. It existed
this is,
back in the day, right? So there was this kind of street violence that was carrying on. It just seems like, as you said quite correctly, it seems to have got even worse with this generation of youth at the moment.
yeah. I tell you what it is. No, you're right. I'm not saying that, you know, people weren't violent, because even if you want to take it even further back, you know, you can go back to the times of the, you know, the so-called King Arthurs and all that, and the Romans. Back then they had swords. You know, it was swords and knife fight beef that was going on in this type of area. But what I'm trying to say is, the reason why they're saying that it's changed is because, you know, when guys in those times were fighting, it was over certain things that you understood. You know, it was grown ups. Whereas now, you know, you got kids, you got 14, 13, 12, even the youngest is 10, 11, you know, going all the way up 19, 18. All these kids are out here with knives, like killing each other at rapid rate. Do you know what I mean? Big rapid rate. And, you know, it's all started to progress throughout the time. You can see from back then till now, you can see how it's changed a bit. Because I remember the times when, you know, certain African kids you wouldn't even see out in the streets. Like for me, example, like my dad was strict, but I wasn't allowed out until a certain age. Like I think what was the age I was allowed out? I wasn't allowed out until I was about what? I'll say about 16, you know. Do you know what I mean? 16, and even then I still had curfew. I had to be in at a certain time. You know what I mean? But now I've seen it how, like, more the parents, because most of the young kids are out there, the parents that are having these babies, they're young as well. They're not enforcing them same house rules like our parents before that, and your grandmothers before that was strict. Did you see what I'm saying? So you're starting to see a lot more of African Jamaican kids out on the streets. Whereas I remember growing up and it was a lot of European kids that was out, and I was always jealous, thinking, wow,
Yeah.
how come they still have to play outside? And I'm inside having to go sleep and it's still bright outside. I used to get stressed.
Did
You
you,
know what I
by
mean?
any chance, Gabs, have a strong root in the church on a Sunday? Did your parent family used to take you to church
Yeah.
on Sunday?
Church on Sunday, I was there, boy. Nice and
Another
early.
thing, it's another thing I think's missing in society today with the
Yeah.
younger generation. Possibly, I might be wrong, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It's something
Yeah.
that I'm not.
Yeah, buddy. Hold on. Let me just quickly survey the audience because right now we've got a panel filled of individuals, and I know they may have other topics that they want to discuss as well. So just in case, let me just see what topics that people actually want to speak about. So let me start with Andeep. Andeep, you there, King? 3, 2, 1.
Right, no, Andy, long time no see, man. You all right? Can you hear us?
All right, let me move over to Joe. Man, like Joe. Salam, salam, salam.
Walaikum salam, everybody. Peace to the panel. I'm just here chiming in, listening. If I've got something to say, I'll contribute.
All right.
Man, like Joe.
All right. Kelly, same question to you. Any topic that you would like to discuss?
Me? Well, I think a nice topic was where you what your last topic was about. What happened prior to Abraham and what religion did he have? There was the similar kind of question actually that Sauer had as well. He talked about what did people do before religion, and it had it quite to me quite touched a similar topic. And I think it was interesting. So
All right. So let me just see what the rest of the panel is saying, and then we'll see. All right, Matt, talk to me, King. What topic would you like to discuss? Can't hear you if you're speaking, King. I know you got your mic unmuted. All right. As soon as you got that sorted out, just come back in again, okay? Megatron, talk to me, my brother.
Yeah, I had a dodgy kebab and I don't feel very well.
Okay. Oh, lo, lo, lo. All right.
I'll pray for you, Megatron. I'll pray for you.
Well, he needs more than prayer right now, He needs
Made
Andrew.
Megatron get better by the blessings of Jesus.
Yeah.
Amen.
Not by the blessings of Jesus, by the blessings of the Lord and Savior Christ.
It's Kalam, bro.
Yeah. Yo, all right, let me go over to Noble. I think that's my brother that's in Europe somewhere, right? Noble, talk to me.
Yes, the guy in Sweden. I forget his name. He ain't been on so long.
Yeah, it says here, is church relevant for African people? When I say African, I mean also called black people. All right. So do I even need to ask Raza? What wants to speak about?
Bro, I'm here to back anything interesting. So I didn't mind something about
One, two.
like, you know what I was saying about Gabs, this thing what you're saying about African culture and it's how it can go in line with Islam and how there's nothing wrong with being in touch with your African roots, bro.
All right, let me go to Mad real quickly, and then I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna just leave this open for you guys to get it in.
Hold up. What? So what? Not me. I don't get nothing now.
Nah, you don't get nothing, man.
Okay,
You're the
all right, cool.
moderator. You're the moderator. You're the chief in charge. Like, soon as I go, yeah, you're in charge, right?
No. I'll bounce everyone. Don't do that to me.
So let Mad say what he wants to say, and then afterwards, you lot just open up to whatever you want to have.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
yeah,
Oh, fantastic. Okay, and basically, I too want to, go into the history of like African culture, how it's, how basically the lack of African values and African culture, how that's affected the Black community, over all islands. Obviously, from West Indians to Americans, and obviously to people in this country, and obviously to the young African youths. Kind of moving away from their identity and adopt another identity. So that's what I'm interested in.
okay, that's interesting. Yeah. Okay. Well, am I next? Maybe I don't know. Somebody else. So it's quiet and southern.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. I suppose I got to moderate now. So yeah.
You didn't deal with first, Caleb, because I think it was Caleb, Raza, and
I
Mad.
want to maybe I could just say what's
Right. So hold on. Wait.
with
Look.
my heart a little bit.
I think.
Your brother, yeah.
I think what Mr. MS was saying and what Raza was saying was more or less the same. So Kelly, you go first, and then the other two can be dealt with at the same time. Go ahead.
All right, yeah. I just wanna say what was bothering my heart last days. I recently was on Google Hangouts a little bit and chatted to certain people, but yeah, sometimes you have this negativity over there, you know. And I'm like that when that happens, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna distance myself. And these people just keep on doing that. And then suddenly I just, you know, there was somebody that just, I don't know, trolled somebody, swear and that. And I didn't say nothing. I just posted a song, you know, an album, and the song was, yeah, it was a quite old song, kind of funky music, and from a Japanese group. Oh, what, you know, people just, you know, there suddenly was a sudden silence, and then suddenly, you know, somebody just make up something to say something negative about it. It was like, wow. So these people are like inventing, you know, put the energy into inventing something negative to say about it. I'm like, wow, I was quite astonished about how come. And then what happens after that is like people, these sort of people then just, you know, they add up, and you see what kind of comedy they put into as well, like a sort of satire or something. And I was thinking about it. Wow, and it was quite common how what kind of sense of humor they used. It's like the Family Guy sense of humor, and I looked up Family Guy. Seems like it's supposed to trigger people to yeah, in a certain disrespectful way, even called by some evangelists or satanic actually to condition a youth who have a lot of disrespect towards other people, towards race, towards all else in a state of mind that is you know, unconscious. So it actually altogether, because it's a widespread channel or cartoon that everybody watches, that is actually not for children, actually, that unconditionally that conditions people to slowly get disrespectful towards each other. I think that was quite interesting to me. Okay, I said enough. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a form of conditioning, man. It's been going on for a little while. This is what, you know, like I stopped watching The Simpsons. I used to love watching The Simpsons until I see them start blaspheming on Jesus and all the rest of us. Well, you know what? Can't take that no more. Cannot take that no more. All right, then Raza, go with your thing, man. What you was talking about.
Yeah. What? Sorry, just about what? Just what I was saying earlier, or?
Yeah, the point that you wanted to speak about with Gabs. You both had the same thing. So if you want to raise that and continue that conversation.
Yeah. So what I was saying is that like the thing that separates a lot of the black people from other cultures is obviously the aspect of with the slavery. That meaning that because of what happened, a lot of the culture and heritage has been wiped out, bro. So while I'm Asian or next man's Arab or next man's etc., we've got a cultural and tribal and history. We've got it, and a lot of black people do have it, but a lot of black people don't have it. So naturally, what happens is that when black people then try to like Gabs mentions that when they didn't bring it up, whether it's through a Kemet thing or because Kemet's just like it's a religion, etc.
Let me try and jump in there, yeah, because you
Yeah, go.
mentioned slavery, okay, and you're right. Once somebody's enslaved or a people's enslaved, their culture is ripped away from them. That's fine.
Yeah.
We also have to acknowledge that Islam is another one. When Islam comes in, culture is ripped away and taken away. When Christianity comes in, the culture is changed and ripped away. Do you understand? So it's not just slavery. There's other
No, I get it. You see, I'm gonna talk about this point. So I'm gonna just quickly finish my point and then jump on that Islam point straight away. Now, the first point was that look, they've obviously had that. Now, my point was initially was that if Now, Gabs wants to discuss it, or someone. People need to be not feel threatened about this, because it's just introducing, trying to give his own people or his community something about their history. Like, okay, this is the tribe we're from, because lineage is important. You should know your lineage. You should know who your forefathers were. You should know what was their culture. You should know these are very important things, and Islam actually emphasizes these things. So yeah, that's definitely something that I'm for, because I'm quite cultural in that regard myself. In regards to the second part that you mentioned, that Islam does it. Now, you see, I would disagree on that, because Islam's a big word, bro. I was saying this to Gabs as well. If you look at Africans, or if you look at, I'm not talking about the phenomena of of black people becoming Muslims in the UK. Let's park that to the side. If you look at the phenomena of Africans generally, of back in the day, I'm talking about hundreds of years ago, who became Muslim. You can find a Nigerian man who's very Nigerian, but who's very Muslim at the same time, meaning he's very
Raza,
in line with his culture.
come
Very
on.
in line with his culture.
Yeah, you have a South American Muslim that dresses up like an Arab. You have a Chinese man that dresses up like an Arab. Then you have an African that dresses up like an Arab. So when Islam comes into a country, the country does Arabize.
Absorb some aspect of the Arabization. Yeah, okay, let's go through that.
Hold on.
Let
me try and add to that, if I could, Raza.
Go for it.
And I'm not just saying Islam, also putting Christianity into the same category, because when Catholicism went to South America, it took over a lot of the tribes down in Peru and all the rest of those countries. All right, cool. But it's because you're a Muslim, right?
Of course, cool. Yeah, of course.
So let's give an example. Say like the Hopi Indian in America, the Native American. These guys hardly wear clothes. The women hardly wear clothes. They have rituals where they worship fire, where they take hallucinogens, where they dance to the music, and etc., etc. Under Islam, how much of that is permissible?
So, do you want to go by step? Which one, or like, because you threw a couple of things that they do?
I would more or less say all of those things that I mentioned are probably not permissible under Islam. Yeah,
just say them again quickly. Just say them.
Can I jump in there?
Sorry, hold on.
Go for it, bro.
So if we're talking about the Hopi or the Apache or Sioux Indian, whichever, doesn't matter. Cheyenne.
Yeah.
So they would dress a certain way. They would dance. They would worship fire. They'd worship elements. They'd take hallucinogenic drugs. So all of those things I've mentioned, in my understanding, would not be permissible under Islam. So if they were to be Muslim, everything
then they have to leave that. Yeah, then they have to leave that.
Would be lost. And
you know what? Yeah,
this is similar for the shamanistic tribes within Africa. So when you talk about the Nigerian, maybe the Hausa tribe in Nigeria, pre-Islam, I'm assuming that they were shamanistic in nature. So they would have worshipped.
Okay, you're coming from that angle. Okay, that's fine. You know what? Let's just quickly define culture then, because when I say, sorry, bro, I know Joe was there. Joe, do you want to go in first, or?
Yeah, go on. Let me say something here. So people have a misconception that when people have to accept Islam, they have to become an Arab, and that's totally not the case. Megatron mentioned China. Now, if you look at the Chinese Muslims, when they accepted Islam, they kept the vast scales of their culture. If you look at their mosques, they don't have domes, they don't have minarets. They're in the shape of the architecture of the Chinese temples. If you look at the way they dress, prominent. Wait, let me finish.
Bro, yeah.
A prominent sheikh is called Sheikh Ahmed Mino, and he's actually he's a samurai. And if you look at the way he dresses in the native Japanese samurai clothes. Now let's look at Singapore and Indonesia.
Hold on. What?
Yeah.
Hold on. Tell me that name. I'm gonna Google that. I've got to see this. Say the guy. What is it?
A-H.
No, just say the name.
Ahmad.
Yeah.
Maeno. Mino.
Right. So, and you saying he's a samurai?
Yeah. And he's wearing.
What makes him? Do you know what a samurai is? Anyway, that's a different conversation.
Not a samurai, but a person like in martial arts and whatnot.
He studies those arts basically.
Right. So this is what I'm saying. The guys, you're telling me the guy's a samurai. I'm like,
all right, okay.
Okay, not samurai.
All right, carry
You get my point, though, don't you? You get my
Yeah,
point.
no, carry on, bro. Yeah, I get your point. Carry on, bro.
My second point is if you look at people like in Indonesia and Singapore, whatnot, if you look at their dress, they wear their sarong, a loincloth. If you look at
100%.
India and Pakistan, when Islam.
So welcome is.
Joe.
Wait, let
Joe.
me finish. Let me finish. Let me finish in it. If you look at people India and Pakistan, they wear their shalwar kameez, which is like a knee-length dress, not the actual thobe of Arabs. They actually
Big up, show welcome is.
they wear their colorful turbans. If you look at the mosques, their domes are in the shape of the Mughal Empire. And even then,
100.
let's look at Africa as well. Many of them wear dashikis. There's a 500
100%.
influential Muslim journal is published yearly by the government of Jordan. Now, one of the most influential, I think, is in the top 10, is a African Sheikh, Tijani Sheikh, who has influenced over 100 million Muslims. 100. It's not just 1,000, 100 million Muslims, and he's wearing his native African dresses, and they sing and dance as well. And if you look at, and you just mentioned what about singing and dancing. Now remember that there's Islam has principles. They call usulul fiqh. Usul meaning principles, fiqh meaning jurisprudence. One of the idioms or maxims that we have is al-urfu muhkamatun, which means that the custom and the general what's prevalent in society is actually taken into consideration and account. So Islam would actually change depending on the time and context. Now, one example I give is, for example, if you look at India, they would have something, they would actually play music. Now, when Islam came there, Islam adopted music, the form of qawwali, which they would sing spiritual poems and poetry and other sort of stuff in this form of
Joe, it's very beautiful the way you've put that. It's very, very, very pragmatic and very beautiful the way in which you've put that. However, do you think that's practical in what you're saying? Do you think that is the reality in society today? Can we look at places in London?
Yes, okay. So let me come back to that. Anders, so your question is it reality in the groundwork? I'd say yes, it is. If you look at the Muslim world as a holistic whole, what people tend to do, let me finish. What people tend to do is they look at the Muslims at Hyde Park because
no, stop,
Muslims,
Mr.
and
Jones.
Wait, let me finish. And they extrapolate from that to the majority of Muslims.
No, Joe.
Yeah,
Joe,
go on.
I'm talking about the young ladies that choose to wear mini skirts and walk down the street and get approached and get ridiculed and all the rest of it in certain parts of London and all the rest of it. Those that's what I'm saying. Practicalities and reality. You're giving a very beautiful description of how Islam on paper is supposed to work. But pragmatic.
No, bro, that he thought with 1 minute, you know, 1 minute, was it Buddha? You know what he just said? It wasn't paper, bro. He gave you practical examples of all these countries, bro. It wasn't just a paper kind of exercise.
Raza, let me ask you something. You're Pakistani, right? You're Pakistani, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so in Pakistan, the Pakistani Muslims, can you see a lot of Hindu influence within the Pakistani form of Islam? For example, extremely bright colors people wear, like for example, some what do you call it, tariqas or spiritual systems where the color orange. Then you have qawwali, like I mentioned.
100%. You gave a maxim of usul of urf. Urf is the biggest aspect. The urf is the biggest aspect around it, and obviously, even you see, I'm totally at home wearing a shawar kameez and being a Muslim. Like there's no contradiction. The problem with that people that fail to see is that the issue that Islam has is that if someone says, okay, in my culture I worship X god, that of course Islam is not going to incorporate because that's going against the essence of the religion. What Islam incorporates is your culture, as long as your culture doesn't go against a pillar, bro. If your culture is going against a pillar, Islam will say, hold on, now you're coming, this is our domain. The domain is of the theology. You're basically saying there's two gods.
Wait, Raza, you mix up two things.
Islam out. Do you get it?
Separate
Can I say something?
Exactly.
Two separate conversations. You're talking about once Islam's already established, but the point I'm trying to make is when Islam is established, people lose their cultures and they have to adopt the Islamic cultures.
Absolutely.
No, Buddha, that's exactly we just spent talking about, bro. We just spent.
Let me respond now. But so you, Buddha, I'm going to quote you verbatim, right? I'm just going to try to quote you verbatim. You said when Islam is established as a dominant practice, people lose their culture. But could you explain to me how people in India and Pakistan have lost their culture?
In Africa.
People in
Africa.
in Africa.
Well, I've given you.
Where they were actually slaves, bro. There's a difference, yeah.
I've given you.
Like first of all, if you look at, like, for instance, the Fulani, yeah, which is an, you know, almost an ancient tribe in Africa, yeah. They started when they started merging, obviously, with Islam. They started it's the first signs of African enslaving Africans, right? That is the difference, bro. Like, when you look at obviously the Asian, I mean, in India and Pakistan, that type of area, and you compare it to the African continent and how it's impacted African continent, bro. Like, you've got tribes in, like, East Africa, Somalia, which is obviously next to Kenya. Now, like, if you actually check the DNA of Kenyans, bro, there's Kenyans with Somalian DNA, and there's Somalians with Kenyan DNA, right? Back in the day, Back in the day, from what I've researched, they were potentially even part of the same tribe, way back, bro. Yeah, way back. But most of them don't even know it, because obviously stuff that's happened over the years. Now, what I will say is, you will never hear a Somalian person saying, okay, yeah, you know, I have black in me, or the same type of black as the Bantu, the same type of black as the Kenyans. We're different tribes. But so what I'm trying to say basically is, everyone has almost lost their identity from those regions. Obviously, when you go to, like, Senegal and places like that, where people are, you know, predominantly black, they still hold on to certain things. But, you know, most of them don't even hold their African names, bro. Like, most of them are called Muhammad. Most of them are called, have Arabic names. You know what I'm trying to say?
No, you know what it is? You know, before we go to Africa, yeah, because I myself am from Indo-Pak region, yeah, like, meaning by lineage and, you know, my background. If I could give a practical example of myself, because practicality, an example of, obviously, from your own culture and what you know is what you know. So obviously Africa, we will have to deal with that second, because you made good points. But just from an Asian perspective myself, because I'm Pakistani, I'll give you an example, bro. To this day, the Muslims, because India, Pakistan, bro, that's billions of Muslims, bro. This ain't about London, or, you know, just a couple of Muslims here and there. I'm talking about billions, bro. India, Pakistan, you know, I think after Indonesia, India has the most Muslims in the world. So Pakistan, Bangladesh, or all those regions. If you look at the lineage there, yeah. Oh, Buddha, one sec, bro. This is important. If you look at the lineages there, people that used to be Hindu that became Muslim, if you look at them, they've kept their lineage. So I'll give you an example. If you go to any Pakistani Muslim, bro, they'll tell you what tribe they're from. They'll tell you, my tribe is this. So even though they're Muslim, they'll be able to tell you what their tribe was. They'll say, I'm a Jat. I'm from the Jat caste. So I'm a Muslim, but I'm from this tribe, which is a Hindu tribe originally, bro. So that's how, and Islam encourages you to keep your tribe, bro. It doesn't say your tribe is broken. So these are very practical examples. Number two is the clothing. Pakistan, we have Shawar Kameez, we have our own clothing. We have our own language.
Let's go on to the clothing there, Raza, yeah? You've just raised the point I was trying to make, okay? Pre-Islam, those people that lived in pre-partition India, what religion were they?
Hindus.
Right, brilliant.
So not only Hindus, there were many cultures
Buddhist as well, yeah, but mainly Hindu, yeah.
Islamic religions.
Sorry.
True,
majority Muslim, Hindu, yeah? Majority
in Hindu. A loose kind of way, yeah.
So it's safe to say certain traits from Hinduism, certain cultures within Hinduism were taken over after Islam, when Islam was brought into effect. Is that safe to say?
What you need to clarify that, specify that statement, bro. Like, give me like
what you gave about the caste system. So even though somebody is a Muslim, they still recognize the caste system as being a thing. So they can draw back to say, I'm a Jat tribe or Jat caste. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. So let me just give one quick specification to that. Meaning they okay, go on. Yeah, sorry, bro. Go on. Carry on.
So even when we look in Islam, and there's been so much conversation in recent weeks and months about where black people are considered in Islam. Islam says there's no racism. Everyone's the same color. There's no racism in Islam. But clearly, there is a vicious undertone that goes through Islam about black people and all the rest of it. Yeah.
Not Islam. The Muslims. That's make sure your wording's clear on that. Not Islam. The Muslims' practicality around it. Yeah.
I apologize. Yeah, you're absolutely correct. So it's the Muslims, not Islam, but the Muslims themselves, where they have that prejudice. Okay. Would it be safe to assume that prejudice came from somewhere? Maybe even like some of the cultural things within the caste system. Is that a possibility?
Yeah, of course, no problem.
All right, cool. That's all I went to make. That's all I wanted to make.
Yeah, no problem. So you see now, here's something interesting is when in Islam, the tribe, meaning what tribe you're from, again, Indo-Pak, the tribe you're from is very important because it shows your lineage. Now, Islam's always emphasized you to know your lineage. I think that's a modern day innovation of our time where people are like, oh, I'm just Muslim. I don't really care about my tribe. I don't really care about my background. I'm just Muslim. That's a very
I learned something. I didn't know that.
In Africa, it's different, fam. I'm telling you now. I think there's a big difference of how it's affected, parts of Asia and parts of Africa. Literally, there's African countries where it's literally wiped out culture, language, and also lineage. It literally has done that. So I mean, I think that's
and you know what, and for it, if that is the case,
and Christianity as well, and Christianity.
Yeah, and if that's the case, for it to have done that is very surprising because Islam recognizes lineage, or even to the fact that I'll give you a good example of this practicality in our jurisprudence. When a woman marries a man, she's not supposed to take his surname. Ask me why. The reason why is Islam says you haven't become his lineage. Your lineage is still from your father. Don't take your surname away. That's a UK modern day type of innovation where you take your husband's surname, because I'll give you an example. If I marry a woman, she hasn't become the lineage of my father. She still remains the daughter of her father. So why are you changing your surname? So Islam even says keep your surname when you get married, which a lot of women are doing today anyway, in the name of feminism.
I've learned something here, Raz. I haven't realized. I'm just going to put what you've taught me today to the test, right? Joe,
go for it.
Are you there, Joe?
Yeah. I want to put my 2 cents in as well.
Yeah, just 1 minute. Joe, are you a Pakistani by any chance?
No.
Okay, where are you from in the world? Where's your family from?
Let's just keep that. It doesn't matter.
Okay. So, do you know what tribe your lineage comes from?
Yeah.
Funny, man.
Yeah.
You do. Which one? What tribe is it?
That'll give away what country he's from.
Wow.
If he tells you the tribe.
Right, okay. All right, crack on. Go on. Do your thing.
Yeah, so wait, let me I just want to say something here. So regarding this tribe thing, basically in Islam, there was something called the objectives of the Sharia law. So people heard
Maqasid.
but there's something called the objectives, which knows maqasid, okay? And what these try to serve is the whole teleological end, or the goal, the main objectives of the Sharia was condensed into 5 things. One of them things was the preservation of your lineage. Is actually one of the most 5 fundamental objectives of the Sharia law is preserving your lineage. So that's actually something very important. And guess who canonized this? Arabs never canonized this. One of the most foremost people who canonized this was scholars from Africa, such as Dan Fodio. Dan Fodio, it doesn't sound like an Arabic name, does it? There was also another scholar, Sheikh Bamba. Doesn't sound like...
Wow.
Wait. Let me finish. Second thing is, if you ask how many people actually know the Arabic language, because Sarah on the last show was saying, oh, you all of a sudden have to learn Arabic language. The vast majority of the Muslims in the world don't know Arabic. How many Indians and Pakistanis know Arabic? They don't know the Arabic. Many people don't know Arabic, and the actual Shari'i, i.e. the Sharia law hukum, the judgment of learning Arabic is not even an obligation upon people. It's a communal obligation, meaning even if one person learned it, nobody else would even have to actually learn the language. And second thing is, Raza, is your name Arabic? Raza, the name Raza is Arabic, by the way.
My name's Raza, is a fully Urdu Pakistani name.
It's a Persian name.
I hear what you're saying, and again, I think you're making some very strong points. But at the end of the day, I think it just goes back to what I was saying before. It had a different impact on Africa, and when you actually think of the Arab slave trade, okay, you can clearly tell that Africans were not given the same rights as people from Asia, all right, and other countries. They were not seen as humans, and unfortunately, during that period of time, there was a lot of rape. And there was a lot of offspring that was, that came from that. It's not. If you go into the record books and you actually do the research, you will see that there was a lot of mistreatment of Africans, and not just Africans, Muslims, Black Muslims as well.
Yeah, don't get me wrong.
Were taken into slavery, and what I'm trying to say is that's why I say lineage has been wiped out, because by obviously not going into the record books and seeing who people were before they became Muslim, after their land was taken over, so, through war, whatnot. Unfortunately, they lost their lineage. So it's easy to look, before the Arab slave trade and stuff after the Arab slave trade and stuff like that, and say, okay, yeah, it hasn't, had a massive impact. But when you actually go into the record books, there's been catastrophic, and negativity throughout Africa. Unfortunately, not just from Islam, but also from Christianity. We all know about Christianity, but unfortunately, we don't know enough about the Arab slave trade and the impact that's had on Africa.
But then you do realize that the sole factor isn't the Islamic religion here; it's actual slavery, right? So that's had the primarily impact.
Well, you can say that, but then at the same time, the first slavery in Africa was Arabs, and unfortunately they used Islam to slave. It wasn't like they were separated. It was connected. It was connected together. They used Islam as a weapon. So unfortunately, it will always be tied in with the slavery. They were not separate. It wasn't like Arabs just came in and separated Islam.
I agree with you here that they used it as to justify their action
to the religion.
Yeah, so I do agree with you here. But there's Ziriab in the chat, and he knows more about African history than me. So if you can make space for him, he can join. So he could join.
Hello. Hey, I just somebody needs to answer a question. I just want to show something. Can I share something?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Look at this, man. What you think of this? You know this guy? It's Bristol Zyman, who idolized the killers of Premier League rugby. It's from a couple of years ago. Admits he was planning an attack on British soil because he had no way of getting to Syria. I don't know if you'd like me to read this part. Bristol Zyman was turned into an Islamic fanatic by followers of the hate preacher Ajam Chaudhry after he was kicked out.
Kelly Allen, we know there's imbeciles and terrorist fundamentalist imbeciles in this country. What's the point you're trying to make with this?
Well, I don't know. Maybe I just want to know what your thoughts were about this guy.
And my thoughts. I can't really
change his name
say on here what my thoughts are because it wouldn't be very polite. My thoughts. So the thing is, people like this need to. Do you know what? Boy, I'll let somebody else answer that.
All right. Before we do that, though, I just want to make sure that everybody who's on here is actually going to be contributing or saying some stuff because there's a few brothers who are trying to get into the chat room. So let me just quickly do a quick sweep and let me know if you guys are going to contribute. So Andeep, let me know if you're ready to contribute, King.
Yeah, I'll drop it.
All right, cool, perfect. All right, let me see who else is here. Okay, Legatron. Noble, are you able to speak? Noble, let me know if you're able to speak. If not, please drop out and give some room up because there's a few other people that's trying to get in. All right. Also, TJ Singh, let me know. Are you going to be contributing whilst you're in here?
Yep. Yeah.
All right. Perfect. Perfect. All right. So you guys, if you lot are looking to come in, that's the audience members, okay? If you guys are actually looking to come in, please, 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 jump in as soon as possible because we've got one space empty. All right, one space empty. All right, you lot continue talking, man. You lot continue talking.
Okay, somebody maybe can get an opinion about that if you like.
Actually, sorry, one last thing. I just realized I just checked my super chats. Okay, we've got Henry Ebb. All right, Henry Ebb. Salute to you for actually donating. They've donated via the super chat, and they're asking this question: if the woman keeps her lineage, who is the child named after? The man, lineage changed. Okay, so let me just try to share my screen so you guys can see it. Unfortunately, I may have read it out incorrectly. It's right here. If the woman keeps her lineage, who is the child named after? The man? Question mark. Lineage changed. So if you guys can answer that question, please, because they have done the nice thing to actually support us by donating. So I would love for their question to actually be answered. Also, we have 41 likes right now, right? And over 124 people that's tuned in. Let me hit the like button. Let me like my own stuff, yeah? So please, family, hit the like button and contribute to Titans TV, baby. Contribute. All right. We won't be having these shows if it wasn't for you guys. So let's get it in.
All right. All right. Well, somebody get in there. I just actually hit the topics.
Mad has been
I got where we at now.
He's been
So it's
talking mad
Raz.
stuff.
You still there?
I'm here, bro. I got disconnected. I'm back, bro. I'm back. Alhamdulillah.
All right, cool.
But I
Could you
need
answer that question?
Yeah, I need someone to answer that question at least.
Yeah,
Come on.
Bro, Kalam, say that question once more, bro.
Yeah.
Drop that question once more, bro.
Callum, give me the question again.
It's the super chat question.
All right. So it says here, yeah, if the woman keeps her lineage, who is the child named after? The man, lineage changed. So is the child going to keep the man's lineage, go after the man's lineage, or the woman's lineage?
So if a child is born, is he given the man's lineage or the woman's lineage? Is that the question?
Yeah, so if the woman keeps her own lineage, who is the child named after? The man, or is it going to be the woman?
Islam generally from the father's side, so it'll be the man's lineage. Yeah.
But Jews, it's otherwise. It's from the woman's side, if I'm right.
But however, like I'd also mentioned that sometimes the women's lineages both are taken into account. For example, many figures have, after their names, you'll have something like Al-Hassani wal-Husseini mentioned, meaning that they are Hassanian from their patrilineal.
Yeah, no, as in. I'm not gonna. Truth be told, you can put both, etc., etc. But generally, bro, I'm giving you a general rule. Generally, Islam will say you take the man's side and you say you belong to the man, you belong to the father. A woman will always belong. So even if a woman's born and she marries outside, she's still her father's daughter. The husband doesn't have a right to change her surname. In the same way, when you have a child, whether it's a girl or a boy, they take yours. So it's generally from is that paternal or maternal? I always get confused. When it's the father, you're not hearing me?
Pata. It's pata. Paternal, baby.
What? Did someone just take over?
So you got for the father it's paternal, for the mother it's maternal.
Yeah. So it comes from the father, bro. Generally, it's from the father. It comes from the father.
Let me add one more thing regarding custom and how it plays a vital factor in Islam. Okay, so you often hear people say al-amru bil ma'ruf wa nahy anil munkar, commanding the good and forbidding the evil. However, what they fail to mention is what does the good in Arabic actually mean? The good in Arabic is actually ma'ruf, which comes from the word urf, custom. So what commanding the good actually is that which is known, that which is customarily known.
Wow, amazing. So meaning, if something's not known as good in society, and you go to the text and you say, no, it says it's good in text, but you're like, hold on, the society doesn't see it as good. So by you commanding that type of good, you're actually doing wrong then, right? Joe?
Second thing, I didn't actually hear what you said, sorry. Go on.
No problem. Fadl, carry on.
So another thing I'd like to mention is when you had judges, the Prophet sent judges to different countries, like people who are knowledgeable in Islam, whatnot, to different areas of the land where Islam became dominant or there were Muslim population. But if you look at the book of how a judge is meant to act and give fatwas, a fatwa or a legal verdict, one of the things that's mentioned is a person cannot be a judge if he actually does not know the language of his place and does not know the customs of its place. So that
the urf.
They can't.
Joe's given ample evidence. I've given a bit of my take. Indo-Pac, bro, anyone can discuss with me on this issue. Indo-Pac, there is no doubt about it, bro, that I'm very in line with my culture and I'm very much Muslim. So that there's no argument there. In terms of Africa, if someone's talking about Africa, I'll leave that to Ziyab.
Yeah. Ziriab, do you want to say something? Or?
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of follow up from what Joe was saying. And I think it's really interesting to see how markedly different that perspective is from the current situation, and a situation which we've known rather, and that is kind of integrating or assimilating with the dominant language, the lingua franca, as the name suggests. So you have this dominant language which comes from a different region. Even I think the kind of idea of the qadi or the judge having a prerequisite to his rulings as being knowing or as knowing the language and knowing the customs is very interesting.
And Zaria, what do you say in regards to you being of African heritage yourself and being Muslim? So what is this like? Because the way I gave the example of Indo-Pak, I was able to give ample examples of how culture, like, you know, Islam hasn't taken over, where you can't be, you know, your own culture anymore in Indo-Pak. How is the situation in Africa? Because Mad was saying a couple of things. So do you have any take on that, bro?
Yeah, Mad was moving mad still. The thing is with speaking for a whole continent is you're undoubtedly and invariably going to fall into pitfalls. I can speak from my background, and my background is like Greater Ethiopia. And so the people that like the land of the first migration, the land where the Muslims were given asylum, the land in which the first mosque outside of the Arabian Peninsula was built. And in that land, there's a wide variety of people and a wide variety of cultures and traditions and customs and norms. And the point is that all these customs, traditions, cultures, and norms, and they're still existent. The thing about Islam is Islam doesn't come with a dominant culture. Like, remember when the Muslims first went to modern day Ethiopia, ancient Aksum, they were received at the court. Now, if you're being received at a court, there's no imperialism going on. You know what I'm saying? You're coming hat in hand. And moreover, you see in the episode of the ancient Arabs going over to ancient Aksum, there was no strong arming the Aksumites in order to give them the emigrants or the asylum seekers at that time, the Muslims in Aksum. So I think it's very, very dangerous to kind of attempt to generalize a picture which is very nuanced.
Yeah, no, I definitely wasn't generalizing. I mean, can you go into some of the customs that were around pre-Islam that are still around today in where you're from, Ethiopia, did you say?
I mean, a very famous custom, which the Yemenis try claiming, but that's okay. That's what little brothers do. Is the coffee custom and tradition, which carries on to this day.
Coffee.
And that was, yeah. So the whole, I don't know if you know this, but there's similar to the Eastern traditions and the tea ceremonies, there's a coffee ceremony that's associated with coffee. There's not no ritual entering of the Starbucks doors and asking for a frappuccino or whatever. You sit down and the beans are roasted, and there's a whole custom basically. So the whole ceremony, whole custom, and that's still continue to this day.
Okay, that's pretty poor. But anyway,
you Abish.
Oh, is that your attempt to kind of degrade that aspect?
I'm asking you a question for a reason, because I want to ask your opinion on something. Is it
no,
true
not you, brother. The man was saying that it was poor, and I didn't know that he had the standard.
Oh, okay.
No, well, it's not even a standard. I mean, I was speaking about something more, specific, maybe to do with your, obviously, the coffee custom. If you're being sincere about that, I was speaking something a bit more. What can I say? A bit more traditional, should I say, in relation maybe to do with rituals that you maybe had pre-Islam that are still there, still present.
That question, you know what? To be honest with you, that question don't really make sense, because Ethiopia is a Christian country. It's not actually a Muslim country, so there is no.
Says who? Hold on. Says who?
So well, most of the Ethiopians I know and I speak to on a regular basis, where I go and have coffee with, it's a Christian country. Are you telling me it's a Muslim country?
What's with the dichotomy? You made an assumption there, and your assumption is blatantly based on your interactions with Christians.
That's right, yeah. So it's not an assumption.
So exactly, so it's an assumption. So the demographics break down at around. I mean, officially it's about 51-49
Wow.
Okay, are we talking
Or
about?
52, 48, depending on how you look at it, in terms of like Christian, Muslim. But again, that's official. If you know anything about the current situation in Ethiopia, we have a Muslim Oromo prime minister, we have a
Wow.
Muslim Oromo president, and there's changes occurring in Ethiopia. So again, and this is the thing about people in the West who try to talk about my culture in particular, is that you're undoubtedly getting secondhand information. So the problem is that you have a perspective which is due to politics, religion, and the intersection of politics and religion, and the propaganda that emanates from that intersection. Undoubtedly, the Christian empire that you speak of, that was very successful in projecting itself as a Christian empire to the rest of the world, has its roots in history, and it has its roots in the traditional antagonism between the world of quote unquote Christendom and quote unquote Islam.
Well,
You know what?
thankfully, you're here to represent your country, Zaria, because I was never aware of that. I wholly assumed, as you quite put it, that it was a Christian country, only because every single Ethiopian I've ever met has been Christian. But back to the question I wanted to ask you, coffee. Was coffee ever deemed haram in Islam?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. 100%.
Big debate about it.
But again, this is the thing, and this is very interesting. I think you might be able to gain something from this. It was people from the periphery, as in it was the Ottomans who had their own social problems, who saw fit to pick on coffee as being the vice of the age. Do you see what I'm saying? As far as we were concerned, it was always cool.
So
no, I hear you. I'm just trying to explain that point. I'm just trying to explain the point that the center of Islam at that point was Ottoman, the Turks.
And ironically enough, all the coffee houses started to come up in Turkey.
Indeed. And I guess that's why, that's my point, is because of the social issues that they had. So the coffee houses were associated with other things, and like drugs, basically, like opium and them things there.
Yes, let me add to that coffee, the instance of coffee. So, for example, if you look at the Ottoman fatwas or legal edicts they issued against coffee, was that it was haram, it was prohibited. And the reason is when they first came across coffee, this because coffee is potent, right? It's caffeine, and they saw the effects it had on the human brain. So they actually analogized that with alcohol, because alcohol in the Quran is only forbidden because of that intoxicates the mind.
Interestingly, on that point now, you see, this is very interesting, and it's a divergent point from Christianity. You see, there's no central authority that can say this is haram or this is halal. Do you understand? So that means that the local qadis, the local judges in Ethiopia, they never changed their position. They always knew of it. They came up with it. So there's no central authority that says, well, this is what it is now. Do you see what I'm saying? It's completely different from Christianity. So the fact is that was a regional judgment for them, and they had to go through their issue. Do you see what I'm saying? But that doesn't change the reality on the ground in Ethiopia, in Yemen, and so on.
You know what, brothers? Can I just quote one tradition, just in the spirit of things, just to show maybe a side of the Prophet that people didn't know. And I know Zaria will blatantly probably know this hadith, but there's a hadith narrated in Imam bin Hanbal's Musnad, and it goes by narrated by Anas that the Habashis. Now, Zaria, when it says Habashis, would that be Ethiopians or no?
Yeah, it's a general term. It's almost like Europeans or
I'm with you.
I'm with you. Iberians. Yeah, that's a good way of saying it. Iberians, like
I'm with you.
That's Spain, Portugal, and all of that. Yeah, carry on.
I'm with you. So it's narrated by Anas that the Habashis were presenting their art in front of the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they were dancing. The words that's used is yarkasun.
Yep.
While saying Muhammadan Abdun Salih. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked, what are they saying? They said Muhammadan Abdun Salih, and that's classified as Sahih as well. Now the interesting part is that basically they were dancing in front of the Prophet, and we have a principle in Islamic law that if something's haram, if something happens in front of the Prophet and the Prophet stays silent upon it, that thing is then regarded as legal.
Yeah.
So there's actually a principle in the fiqh of that. So it's interesting that they done that in front of the Prophet, and the Prophet didn't say it's haram.
Yeah,
And it just shows you how the Prophet wasn't like, no, you can't do this in our like. It's just it just shows you a different side, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm going to come to that. I want to say something regarding that as well, and I want to continue with the coffee thing as well, so that we get a broader understanding of things. Because people here, generally on this platform, just want a quick back and forth, entertainment, rumble in the jungle type thing, and they don't actually want to go into depth, breadth, and actually learn and be actual open-minded and have a civil discussion. So regarding coffee things, Zia was exactly correct. The Ottomans actually made it forbidden because they analogized it with alcohol, being it was intoxicated the brain because they saw the effects it had. The other thing they actually made it prohibited was the coffee shops and houses that were opening places like Istanbul, whatnot. They became sources where people would actually waste their time, just chit chat around, gossip, backbite, and these sort of traits are not actually seemed honorable and virtuous in Islamic ethos, their Islamic way of being, and that's why the Ottoman judges actually said, you know what, coffee is not allowed because it's a vice, it's leading to XYZ things. But later on, if you look at the effect coffee now has in the Arab world as well, and as well obviously in Africa, it's been given a title. It's been given a title called Khamrul Mu'mineen, the wine of the believers, and actually it's become such a part and parcel of Muslim life that they say the people used to drink coffee for worship because it would help
Well,
them
that's just
sleep
it.
at night. They
That
would,
is the point. That's the
they would
point
help
of
them stay awake.
differentiation.
Yeah, exactly. And regarding what Raza said, yes, he mentioned that Habashis came and danced in front of the mosque of the Prophet,
Wow.
and the Prophet watched with his wife, and they were singing in their own tongue and language, and the Prophet asked, "What does this mean?" And if you look at Africa, still now they have a concept called Hadra and Raqs, where they actually dance back and forth
Wow.
in an elegant fashion. So, yeah, that's
You know
one.
what? You know what?
I've got,
Honestly,
I've
I'll
got.
just say that people extrapolate, bro. They base. I'm telling you right now, bro. They base it. They don't realize it, but I'm telling you right now, it's the media and what they see potentially in speakers. I don't know what it is, and then they extrapolate it on the whole of the Muslim nation, bro.
Yeah, definitely. And this is what I keep mentioning Titans TV. I don't extrapolate your experience with speakers, kind of Muslims to everybody. Islam is not a monolith. I've got a few, usul al-fiqh I mentioned, which are jurisprudential maxims and idioms. I've got a few here regarding custom, so people understand what the jurisprudence and the legal significance of custom. So the first one is al-adatu muhkamatun, which means like customary usage is actually a binding factor. So just how the Quran is a source of legislation for Muslims, the Sunnah is a legislation for Muslims. The custom is also taken into deep consideration. Second thing is people's customary practice is legal proof and must be given regard. Another thing is that the custom may actually forbidden things. So, for example, the Prophet, one example could be that the Prophet said that the world has been made a mosque for the Muslims. But however, if one person could ask, well, can you pray in the toilet? But the toilet, as customary, is seen as impure. So it would not be made permissible to pray in the toilet as a customary factor. So it actually shows that even custom can make things not even allowed, it can make things actually impermissible as well. And this is also the important factor why Islam actually emphasized the importance of language and why they studied pre-Jahili Arabian, like pre-Islamic language as well. Because if they were able to preserve the language of Arabic, they could actually go back to what the actual source meant, and then rather than obfuscate from modern understandings of terms and meanings.
I'm sorry. Can we change the topic a little bit? Maybe.
Yeah, go for it, bro. Go for it. As long as everyone's understood what we're saying, bro.
Yeah. Well, I just saw somebody came in the panel. His name is Ezra Idea. Maybe she can say something.
Yes, Ezra, Wagwan, you good?
Yes, family. What's good? Everyone good, yeah?
Alhamdulillah, bro.
Yeah, man.
Let's have TJ Singh. Do you want to grab the mic and say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to come back to the point, actually, about the South Asian point that you guys were talking about, because I've met some Pakistani Muslims who actually think they're Arabs, and I find that kind of funny, actually. I'm not sure why.
You sure they're Pakistani?
100% sure. I mean, if I myself am actually Jat, and my last name is Bajwa, and I've actually met other Jats who think they're actual Arabs, and I laugh my ass off every time I hear that. So I'm just curious to know why that is.
So TJ, salam, bro. What you saying? My name is Raza. I might be able to give you a bit of perspective on that. So in Indo-Pak, TJ, obviously, if I'm guessing, are you Punjabi?
Yes.
Cool. So you being of Jat heritage, India and Pakistan in them regions was like at times it was a war zone, bro. So while you had the pre-Islamic ethnic groups that lived there, such as the Jats, such as the Rajputs, such as the Turkans, such as etc., etc., all of these groups lived there for centuries before Islam. So naturally, when a lot of them became Muslim, they became known as Jat Muslims or Jat Rajputs. So they're no doubt about it. They have Indian heritage. Now, that's number one. In regards to the question you asked, in regards to Muslims that are claiming that they're Arab, the answer to that would be is that it's possible because there's a lot of tribes, a lot of Arab invaders, and a lot of people that came there. When they went there, they actually settled and they mixed with the local population. So a lot of the Muslims are of Arab ancestry as well as ethnic Asian ancestry. So it just depends who you speak to, bro.
I don't know, because I think it has more to do with what was that called? Two nation theory. I think it has more to do with that.
To do with what, bro? Say again?
Two nation theory.
How so, bro?
Well, let's just take a look. I mean, Mr. Jinnah, right? I mean, he was the one who said that the whole history of Islam, goes back to when the first Arabs came into Sindh, and even though he himself was a Khoja Shia who was actually Hindu by race. So I mean, I just don't understand. And he said that basically everybody in India is composed of multiple races, and the actual DNA is coming back. Come to find out, everybody shares the same DNA. So
No, so when you say India and there's billions of people there, I'm saying I already agree with the fact that there's a lot of people that are ethnically from that area. But are you saying that there's not people who settled there from out? If you go to India now, if you go to Pakistan now, you can see by people's faces and their features that people mixed. You've got people that look I'm from Pakistan, bro. In India, Punjab, potentially the same. People, they look very different because there's different ethnic groups in the region. So from there, you've got different ethnic groups, and you had mad invasions in India, in that India region. You had the Mughals who came. So I'll give you an example. The Mongols who came to India, because Mughal is a Persian word for Mongol. So when the Mongols came there, we speak Urdu. What's Urdu? Urdu is a Turkish word. It's a Turkish word for army. So Turks, Mongols, Arabs, ethnic Asians that live there. Do you think that everyone that lives there were only people that from the region? No, people invaded the lands, bro. And they came for different reasons. So when someone today says, I'm from etc. tribe, or I'm an Arab, or I'm a thing, that's not a problem, bro, because some of them will be. I'm not saying all of them will be, because some of them will be ethnic Asians like yourself, like a Jat, but someone might be an Arab tribe. So I'll give you an example. In Pakistan, we have Baigs. What's a Baig? Anyone with the first name Mirza. So this is how it works. Mirza, first name, Baig. It means he's Mughal. That's the sign of a Mughal. That means him, Baig comes from the Turkish word Baig, which means Turkish commander. These are cultural heritages, bro. So these are historic facts. You can't just say no. It's a historic fact that people are from different tribes in our country, and some of them will be ethnically Asian like yourself, and some of them will be Arab, Turkish, Mongol, etc., etc.
Wait, I'll also add that just as how Mad was saying that slavery and whatnot destroyed some of the cultural heritage of Africans, and no doubt it did. Same way, British colonialism also did the same with India as well. So, yeah, that's what I thought as well.
Well, I mean,
my brother, do you get my point there? Do you get my point there, bro?
Of course, but I believe it was the University of Cambridge. Did the DNA testing in South Asia, and every single group shares the same DNA. Except for one group of Shias called the Bohras, who live off the coast of Gujarat, who actually have Arab ancestry. So to me, it's kind of funny. And then secondly, I mean, come back to your point about the British. I mean, what about the Islamic invasions of India? All the people slaughtered. I mean, it's the biggest human Holocaust in history. I mean, historians put that upwards of 100 million. And so, and yet the Indian Muslims will side with the invaders, citing them as heroes, which I think is disgraceful. but yet they just touted something a lot of proof now.
Brothers, can I just ask you a question on the back of that about Islamic invasion of India? TJ saying, or rather you might want to contend with this. Is it true to say, or is it fair to say that the Islamic, quote unquote, Islamic invasion was the Mughal invasion, which was the remnants of the Timurid invasions, which was Turkic in origin?
Yeah.
That's
or Mongolian in origin.
Yep.
Well, I would say the most damage occurred during during the Delhi Sultanate. I believe one historian put the body count at around 80 million just in that period alone. So if we take everything from the 7th century all the way up to the fall of the Mughal Empire.
Just before, and Zara, I want to touch on this topic because the brothers brought up a point now, so I don't want to leave that point, and I want to go in depth in that. Just your point that you've made. We have descendants of, we even in India, like we had the Sayyid dynasty that ruled India, who were known descendants of the Prophet, bro. So what I'm trying to say to you is that Cambridge might have considered their study. I don't know how they managed to do a study on the whole of India or the whole of that region, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh. But we know of even saints that are buried there that are not from that region. So you need to be practical, and anyone who reads history will know that this region is not only compromised of people who live here. You just said yourself, people invaded. So if Timur-Lenk was invading and his soldiers were doing what they're doing, do you not think generations lived afterwards? In Afghanistan, when you have the Hazara people, what do you think they are, bro? There's Hazara people being Mongols. And even if you look at them, they look that way. As in, this is just all part of history, bro. You mix. So if someone says they've got Arab heritage or Turkish heritage, and especially people that have family trees, bro, everyone's not going to be ethnic Jat in the region, bro. Some people will be. We've got a big Jat population in Pakistan, and they are Jats, and they're proud of being Jats. But then you've also got people that are saying, yeah, I'm a tribe, I'm a Mirza, I'm a Beg, I'm etc., I'm etc. So it's just all part of the history, and that's what makes it beautiful, bro. That you've got all the remnants and all the people that come from different tribes. That tells you the history, because you know now that that's exactly what happened in history. People come here and they done different things. So yeah, that's definitely 109% fact.
Yeah, but yeah,
in terms of the second thing you're saying, yeah, go on.
Yeah, sorry, no, I didn't want to interrupt. You finished?
Go for it, bro. Go for it.
Yeah, I was just going to chip in and quickly say, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of truth in what you're saying, Raza. You're making some strong points. What I want to say as well, if we look at some of the black the black perspective of it as well, the transatlantic slave trade. I mean, you've got a lot of confusion now among the black community. A lot of these for instance, the American people, Black American people, African Americans, a lot of them now believe that they have a lot of what do they call Indian, Native American in them. Now, a lot of them are rejecting their African ancestry, which doesn't really make sense, but a lot of them are doing it. And, if you go online, you see some of their test results for DNA tests and stuff like that. Most of them got like 1 or 2%. So sometimes it is literally to do with rejecting your identity and wanting to, appropriate yourself with another identity.
But you know what it is? You can't say that because a lot of them are native to it. So yes,
no, but I don't specifically mean native to the land. I do agree with that. And obviously, there's records of Africans traveling to the Americans before slavery. But what I was going to say, what I was actually talking about was Native Americans, as in Native Indians. That particular race. They are saying that they are actually part of that race. Okay, so.
But they are the originals of that race.
Well, all I'm saying is the DNA tests that I've seen, and I've seen a lot. I've seen a hell of a lot. None of them have more than like 5%. So it just seems to be something that's been passed down.
No, but what I'm saying
through word of mouth, through families. You know what I mean? And it's not accurate.
Listen, the problem is, when you're saying Native Americans or Native Indian, what comes to your mind is those like Mexican-looking people. But that's not the case. The original natives and the old tribes of North and South are black people. We know that.
But they were there as well. They were there as well.
Bro, you just have to look at the artifacts.
I agree with you. I agree with you. Obviously, the native people were also black. African.
Yeah, look
of
at
African descent as well.
Like big black noses. Come on, get me. Mexicans making them.
Yeah. Brothers, just a quick point. The brother mentioned just a quick point about India and stuff. And then we'll go to any other topic. He just, because that, in terms of the casting, I think that's pretty much cleared up. But in terms of what he said about the numbers, in terms of the invasions, this and that, I don't really know what was the brother's point. Was the point to show that, oh, Muslim armies were, killing people there, or what was the actual point of that, of saying that statement?
Well, no, like somebody brought up something about the British Empire, and I mean, yes, damage was obviously done, but that pales in comparison.
Why did you straight away, as soon as someone brought up British, why did you straight away, as a thing, bring up Muslims like that? Meaning, what was the?
No,
I don't get it. Like,
I didn't use the word Muslim at all. I said Islamic invasions. So
yeah, that's what I mean, bro. Yeah, whether Islamic Muslim, the point is,
I difference.
yeah, the point is that if, go on, go for it, bro.
Let me say one thing. You see what you was talking about with like the Indian tribes and stuff like that, Pakistani tribes. The thing is, I understand that there's a lot of different splinters like in modern times, but like really, they're all the same people. Like the Persians didn't disappear. You know what I mean? Like they're still here.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
100%. Where did they go? They're within us, bro. They're within us, bro. Where did the Arabs go? They're within us, bro.
Yeah.
We're all mixed now, bro. So if someone, the funniest one is the person who tries to claim I'm 100% something. In today's Indo-Pak region, that region was a war zone, bro. So for someone to say I'm 100% something, you're stupid, bro. Because even the ones that say that, the ones that descended from Arabs, they then married into the local people, and when they married, that's why we all look brown, bro. We don't look. We start to look more Asian than anything because we all mixed. Do you get it?
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like going with the Bible. That's the thing. There's no such thing as mixed. Like you are what your father is. So like, if your father,
the original seed. Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah.
So like, there's no such thing as mixed. Like the original lineages are still here.
You maintain your. Yeah. I get the technicality around it. Yeah, I get it.
You still got your original lineage. It comes from.
You still say your original tribe and lineage. Yeah, no, I'm with that. We have a similar element, so I get that. So yeah, so I think look, the general broad thing was just about the aspect of Islam and cultures, bro. And like we just started off with religion, but for everyone on the panel, I don't want to take over, but it just started off as religion and culture. And my point was just to show that from my own personal experience. So I grew up as a Indo-Pak Muslim, and Zaria brought his perspective, is that we have Islam's got quite a rich tolerance in terms of culture. Now, this is one thing I want to say to you, like that. Also, in terms of the modern phenomena of what you see, even what you lot see in terms of the turban is is a very much Muslim thing. The Prophet was about the turban. Are you with me? So when you see in today's society, I don't think a lot of people associate that with Muslims. If anything, it's probably associated more with Sikhism, which is fine because they wear it. But in today's society, when you see like a religious Muslim person, and maybe I would say potentially that's to do with the Salafi influence in the Muslim world, the Salafi Wahhabi influence, is that there is no aspect of really the turban anymore because no one really wants to wear it. They wear the other thing on their head. So what I'm trying to say is the Prophet was, he used to wear a beautiful turban, a white turban, a black turban, a green turban. So a lot of things that are in your head, if I told you someone was walking around, the Prophet had a long kameez on, he wore a green turban, you'll be like, what? That's not Islam. Or someone might think like that in their head. But that's because in your perception of what the Prophet looked like, or the perception of how a Muslim should dress, or how he did dress, is not the right perception. You're probably thinking someone with that red and white thing that Salafis or Saudis wear. Do you get it?
Yeah.
Well, I also,
so our perceptions are mixed, man.
But let me add to that is that the Prophet actually changed his clothing depending where he went. So he also wore
Yemeni clothes. Yeah, he's right.
And also wore Roman, which what's it called?
Byzantine.
Their clothes as well. Yeah. Byzantine. It was gifted to him. Yeah.
You know why though, innit? And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but
yeah. Go on.
Why was it, bro? Why was it? Tell us.
Muhammad, was trained by Khadija and Warika for 15 years, bro. Get me? 15 years.
Yeah.
And like, he was they was set out on a mission to find the Arab prophet. You know what I mean? Like that was their job.
Oh, to find the prophet, yeah.
Yeah. Like the Catholic, they've got it written Like that's the thing. The Catholic, they've got records on this of how they started it and their mission. You know what I mean?
What was their mission? To find the prophet or to make a prophet?
To make a prophet, yeah, an Ishmaelite prophet, yeah, that could help them control Arabia. And how come, like,
Oh, bro, that's a big claim, bro.
Okay,
That's a big claim, bro. That's a big claim, bro.
Can you
let me show you one thing. Let me show you one
Ezra.
thing. How come out of all,
Ezra.
listen, wait there. How come out of all the jihads, yeah, all your Islamic wars, everything, yeah, there's no Roman Catholic wars. You've never even attacked a shrine of the Catholics. You know what I mean? Everyone else.
Bro, that sounds like conspiracy theory to me, bro.
Man,
But go on.
Ezra, can you quote some sources?
What's his name now? Saint Augustine.
You know. So was Khadija part of that then?
Yeah, she's a part of it.
What?
Ezra,
bro, that's mad, bro. That's mad, bro.
When she turned up in Arabia, yeah, she had more caravans than the Quraysh tribe.
This topic was about controversy. Brings it.
Ezra, send some links, please. Please, links.
I will.
Yeah.
I will.
Right.
Just,
let Ezra speak, though. Let him finish what he's saying. Go on, Ezra.
And when she turned up in Arabia, yeah, I know that she's a descendant of the Quraysh as well. She's an Arab, but when she turned up in, I think it's Medina, she had more coaches on her caravan than the Quraysh tribe put together. So that shows how much influence.
Yeah, but she inherited that because her husband died and left.
Yeah, 3 husbands. You know what I mean? And she gave away all her wealth to the Catholic Church. Yeah, and then
What the same Catholic Church that was destroyed at that time? Why did the Byzantines split off? Why was the Eastern Roman schism?
Ezra, you never I have never heard this before.
Ezra, you're coming with some conspiracy theories, bro.
I'm asking you the question.
This is Catholic writings, fam. This ain't off my head.
I'm asking you the question. Why was there a schism between the Eastern and Western Roman churches?
You mean a schism?
Yeah, like the Orthodox Church and the Catholic Church.
Yeah, exactly, TJ Singh. Why did that happen? Why did that happen?
What do you mean?
Asking me?
And when did it happen?
It was like after the first.
You're asking me?
Now, TJ Singh, you probably know, but I'm trying to induce Ezra to go and do some church studies.
Bro, I'm not a Christian, you know. You get me? All of that's nothing. You understand? So what I'm saying is, like, the Catholics have got their own writings. Just type in Saint Augustine, the Jesuit priest, just like Warwicker, the Jesuit priest. Still there.
Okay.
Right. So hold on. Let me ask either Raza or one of the Muslim guys on the panel. Have you heard of Khadija giving away her wealth to the Catholic Church before?
I've heard Khadija giving her wealth, all of it away, but not for the Catholics, for the Muslims. I've heard she gave all her wealth away for the case for Islam, bro.
Alright, watch this. One sec.
And that's what's famous in the world, bro.
Right. So let me ask you this then.
Big claims, though, man. That's big claims, bro.
Right. Okay. Let me ask you this. How long was it before? So when the Prophet became a prophet, when Muhammad became a prophet, how long after that did Khadija die? Or did she die before he became a prophet? No, couldn't have.
No, she was there. She was definitely there when he, announced his prophethood. The year of sorrow. She died in the same year that Abu Talib died, which was, years, bro. How many? When was the year she actually passed away? It was called the year of sorrow. Her and Abu Talib died in the same year.
What, a year, 2 years, maybe? Round about 2 years.
Oh no, around 10 years. Around 10 years.
So what was
Muhammad
10, bro?
doing? Yeah.
What was Muhammad doing for 15 years while he was married to this Catholic woman?
Power on your device.
Get me? What was he doing?
He was married to a Catholic woman. Who was he married?
Khadija.
Khadija was Khadija Catholic?
Yeah.
I'm aware her cousin. I'm aware about Warwicker, but I've never
how
heard...
are you even entertaining that, man? Come off it, bro.
This is basically yo, Raza, teach them.
No, bro. I can't teach them because I'm not aware of that, bro.
You're not aware that Khadija is a Catholic.
I'm aware of Warwicker, bro. I've never heard that she was Catholic, bro.
Warwicker was a Catholic priest and a historian. Yeah, and then Khadija was just a Catholic who had been
Oh, you know what? You know what? In regards to her being Catholic, you might as well provide some sources for that, bro.
Yeah, I'm gonna provide
Right,
it
but
now.
hold on, wait, Ezra. Then that means when Prophet Muhammad married Khadija, he must have been Catholic as well.
Yeah, but imagine, yeah.
Hold on. Did
Imagine,
Khadija know Latin?
listen. Imagine you can't read and write. You can't read and write, you know. You're married to this Catholic woman, yeah, for 15 years. Yeah,
Who told you
and
he
you
can't read
close
and
to
write,
that.
man?
You get me? And then all of a sudden, you're a prophet. Nah.
You can't ask questions, Ezra. You made a bold-faced claim. You know, you can't be then asking
You
questions
asked, yeah,
like,
bro.
"Oh,
You made some shocking. My
you
man's
know,
still trying to get over your claim, bro.
Bro, I'm
What? You don't believe
confused.
Khadija?
Like,
Yo, Kalam, wait there. Khadija's a Catholic, fam. This is basic knowledge.
why are you
Basic.
tapping
All right, bro.
next? Don't
basic
tap
to
next
you,
man
I
into
never
the
knew that.
conversation.
This is
Just
basic.
provide some evidence,
All
innit?
right, and watch.
Right.
I'm
So
a
All
far,
right,
computers
cool.
on now.
While he finds that
Yeah,
evidence,
you like carry on. You like carry on.
cool. While he finds that evidence,
Raza, while he's finding that, yeah, is there any truth in anything he said right about now?
No, man. That's some
None at
conspiracy theory.
all.
I think he's watching some conspiracy channel stuff.
It
That's some
sounds like he's watching them
that's
videos that have automated voices. You know.
they're automated.
Well, what is the conspiracy that they were Catholics? I mean, it was still pre-Islamic era, isn't it?
Yeah, you know what it is? You know, I know, but you know what he's trying to link it with? He's trying to link it with, oh, they were Catholics and they had linked in with the
No. He's
Byzantines.
trying to say that it's a Jesuit plot.
Yeah, like the whole reason he had done this whole prophethood's fake is just they wanted control over that region, bro. He's on some next thing.
Control of Israel, and then guess what? Guess what happened straight afterwards?
What happened, bro? Tell us.
Muslims ran up in Israel, gave it to the Catholics, just like they want.
There was a handing over ceremony and all that. There was like a ribbon and a set of keys to the ceremonial city. All of that.
Right. Hold on. Let's ask Callum. Callum will know. Callum, was Khadija a Catholic?
It depends on what you mean by Catholic, because Catholic just literally means the universal faith of Christ, basically.
Okay.
So what do you mean by Catholic?
Well, okay, let's not use the Catholic then. Let's just say, was
Christian?
Khadija a Christian?
Highly probable, yes.
I was gonna say that as well, to be honest.
But then let's talk about that.
Wow.
Hold on, wait. So that means if Muhammad married Khadija, then he would have to have been a Christian as well. No,
not necessarily.
Probable. It cannot be discounted. The scholars of the past never discounted that. They all argued what faith he was prior to actually becoming the prophet itself.
Jeez.
So
when someone, you know what it is? You know when someone says, yeah, that someone was of a specific faith, it's all about contextualization. So when someone says, okay, let's just say someone says the prophet was a Christian before he ended up. Yeah,
let's
go on.
make it a bit easier. Callum, what religion were the Qurayshi tribe predominantly?
They were Jews, right? One.
They were a mixture of different religious cults during that time period. But there wasn't one.
That's a nice way to put it. They were into the regional mystery schools.
Yeah.
But what was the
predominant?
The Quraysh? The Quraysh were Jews, right?
Jeez, everybody just got licked off. So there is evidence. There is evidence to suggest that they were, from his paternal side, and even his maternal side, they could from his maternal side. Let me go to his grandmother. His grandmother may have been a Jew, and she may have been even a Christian. That's reported.
Where?
See it there.
Sorry. And then you got who else? You got his father, who could have potentially been a Christian as well. The reason why I say potentially be a Christian, there is an account, although it is a very strange account, that he actually visited a Christian monk, in his cell, to talk about his son being born, and the Christian monk supposedly told him that he was the prophet to be. So They're
Well,
reasoning.
yeah.
There
Hey,
are.
yeah. Let me add to that because, for example, when the story of when the Prophet married Khadija, they was on a business trip to I think it was Syria, and they consulted the Nestora, I think a Bahiro, I can't remember the monk's name, but it was a Gnostic Nestorian Christian who actually prophesied. So you could see some sort of links there, a relationship.
There is a lot of links with Judeo-Christianity during that time period. So it's possible, it's probable, but it's not definitive.
Could somebody say something about Marabou or Marabu? I can put it down in the side link. Somebody heard of it?
Nah.
Sounds like a cocktail, bro. What is it?
There you go. Heard of it?
Marabout? No way. What's that?
Somebody told me that there's a custom prior to Islam and African uses that you can Google, you can YouTube it, by the way, and you see plenty of evidence. And it's like they did that, like bowing down to a grave that has to do with the ancestors or something. And it was a custom that was still being used by some of the tribes, like in North Africa. And there's somebody like an important person. I don't think it's a prophet or something. They will bow down to his grave, uh, towards the direction of his grave. I think that was an interesting point. If it's still a custom, and even prior to Islam, actually.
Yeah, I think I have heard something like that about North Africa.
Yeah.
But what was your point, bro? That meaning, what was your point that they do that in before Islam, but they don't do it after?
Well, it's like prior to Islam, the custom was already there, and during Islam, people just stuck to these customs. Some tribes or something, or a culture as a whole, maybe
Yeah,
that
yeah, 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 yeah.
you know.
Yeah, you know what it is. You know what it is. Look, let me just say like a principle. If there's no doubt about it, yeah, that like Islam adapts to your urf, adapts to the culture, uh, in that aspect, and we have that. And anyone who studied it, and anyone who knows Muslim cultures, whether you look at Malaysia, Indonesia, it's proven, bro. It's just practicality just shows it anyway. The thing that's in people's heads is that Salafi Wahhabi interpretation, which tends to be quite our way or the highway, and that's not based on the basis of sectarianism. That is the case. In what regards to what you're saying in North Africa, in terms of bowing down to the thing, there's also no doubt about it. I'll give you an example. If someone says, in my culture, we worship a tree,
Mm-hmm.
and we believe that the tree is a life giver, and the tree, I'm just giving you an example, I'm not saying anyone believes that, but yeah, the tree is everything, and the tree gives this, and the tree gives that, and the tree gives you children. Of course, if you become Muslim, that is a clear tanaqud, it's a clear contradiction to what Islam teaches. So obviously you can't believe in Islam and then believe in that as well. Islam won't be like, yeah, you can believe in the tree and you can believe in God. No. You
Yeah,
get it?
I understand that, but it's like it's the same like in Catholicism. Actually, they would say the same, but they still have people Catholic that still let the people practice their own customs. If it's animalistic, to have it next to the religion they have submitted to, just like Islam probably will do.
Yeah, no. So in that regard, if someone had that kind of thing where I believe, this is another God, can I still be Muslim? Of course, that's a contradiction within our school. It's not the religion. I don't think any Muslim here, unless they've got a different view on it, would say that you can believe in two gods and still be Muslim. Like obviously, that's the whole pillar of the faith. The whole pillar was okay. Well, bro, you can't say it's my culture and then
Brother,
believe in Islam as well. Yeah.
brother. See, the thing is, you're talking about religion, specific parts of the Islamic faith. You're talking about that. I'll talk about things like music, things that are haram, like art.
No, but you see, this that part, Buddha, that just that part there, things that are haram.
Yeah.
This is very key. A lot of these issues that you think are haram, there's actually a dispute amongst them. Meaning, I'll give you an example. Music has always been, if you look at the scholars,
Yeah.
it's always been a grey area, bro. Scholars have always differed on it. It's only in today's society where you think it's a clear-cut issue. So that's why the brother gave a good example of the India subcontinent.
It's not so much a clear-cut example. It's like it's this philosophy whereby if we're not sure and it's a great thing, we'll not do it just in case. Do you get what I'm saying?
No, but that's another modern day phenomenon. What I'm trying to say to you is that the aspect of music has been disputed, where some scholars have actually said no, it's not haram.
Bro, the people.
When did that really become an issue?
Listen, the people danced in the Prophet's mosque and sung and danced in the Prophet's mosque.
If someone danced in front of Muslims in the mosque today, they would probably say it's haram, you can't do this. But that's what I'm trying to say. There's been a healthy debate about these issues among scholars for generations, bro. So don't just think it's haram.
When I was in Cairo, studying in Cairo for a while, they used to dance after the Jummah prayer after Friday inside the mosque as well. What's also good to understand is when the Prophet migrated from Mecca to Medina, women would also be seen clapping and dancing, celebrating his arrival into the city, singing the famous poem Tala al-Badru alayna, the crescent moon has arose upon us. And like I mentioned before, the name commanding good, forbidding evil, this notion that Salafi is their slogan. What is the good actually mean? It means that which is commonly known.
That is one. Well, that is known. Yeah. So yeah,
we have something called a hadra, which is a dance. Hadra literally means being present. Being present in front of the
from Hadir.
Okay, but what about the hand of Fatima? Or in Turkey they have these blue eyes.
The blue eyes. Yeah.
It's like the protection against evil. Wow.
Yeah, amulets.
Yeah, that's folklore that's kind of spread out across this quote unquote Islamic world. There's regional folklore and it's
Indian Muslims. So why they do that?
You gotta understand there's something called being Muslim.
Because it's folklore. That's because it's like something that's passed on. Customs is not always like a clear cut. Some practices are just passed down from father to son or from generation to generation, and it's enough that you saw your parents or your peoples do it.
Yeah.
By the way, I gotta mention something that when I've just said that music and dancing is probably has been made to be permissible, there'll obviously be certain restrictions. So, for example, twerking or something like that would not be seen as
that's not the kind of dancing the brother's talking about. Yeah.
Behind closed doors, why not?
Yeah, but you know what? That's a good point. Between husband and wife, though, the scholars, I'm sure, they made a good point there. Husband and wife, bro.
In certain African tribes, like in the Congo, obviously it's not considered to be called twerking, but they obviously do express themselves in that similar manner, and that is part of the culture as well.
Yeah, but again, their whole culture is different. They don't even wear any clothes, so that would be
They don't wear any clothes. What are you talking about?
No, many African cultures don't actually wear clothes like we wear today in the modern world. They only, some are fully naked, for example, if you look at some tribes in Amazon and whatnot. So I'm saying that would be their custom.
It's a very
change regarding that.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, so the point was that behind closed doors, husband and wife, loads of scholars would find that permissible, no issue with it. So yeah, bro, it's just the concept of, it's just, again, bro, extrapolating from certain people that you see on this harshness where, bro, Islamic jurisprudence and Islamic thought was halal or haram. It is so vast, bro. Honestly, when someone says something's haram to you, say, is it haram according to your school or has Islam agreed upon it? Just make sure, all the non-Muslims, whenever someone says to you something's haram, just say, is that agreed upon? Just make sure you ask that question, is that agreed upon? And I guarantee you, most times, if the guy's truthful to himself, he'll say, no, my scholar said it's not agreed upon. Because there's so many different opinions, bro. So Islam is not just...
Why is it acceptable then? Why is it acceptable?
Yeah, good question.
What's acceptable?
Why is what acceptable?
All these things, these customs next to Islam or besides to Islam.
Yeah, if everything, if all the hadiths, are like you said, like debatable, then how can you enforce any of them really?
But that's two separate questions, I think, and they are kind of interconnected in the sense that, well, firstly, I think, well, this is my view, that Islam didn't come to dictate what it is you do every minute of every day. Okay, so obviously certain people will have the perspective that Ezra kind of put forward, which is that it's all in the hadith, and so if it's in the hadith, then you need to follow it. But then you're kind of adding to that, which is obviously what someone on the panel must have said, that if these hadith are debatable, then how can that be? So I'm saying that it's only from the perspective that, oh, Islam is here to kind of regulate every millisecond of your life is when.
Nah, but haram is haram, no. So like.
No,
Ezra, you know, my internet cut off. Go again, bro. Someone was gonna ask me something.
So basically,
all I'm saying is haram, innit? So like,
and water
I understand
is
what he's saying. Yeah, it's not really enforced, but yeah, if you're trying to be rightly guided, yeah, and one man's telling you music's haram, and the next man's telling you music's halal, yeah, what are you gonna do?
Yeah,
it's a disagreed upon issue, bro. It's a disagreed upon issue.
Yeah, wait,
this
let me.
Is the thing, fam. Like,
yeah, I get you. I get you.
Wait, this is the one second. This is the one thing with Islam as well. You know, like Muhammad removed the idols, and then the scholars became the idols now. So it's not Allah that you're dealing with. It's, oh, the scholar says this, the scholar said that.
No, it's not. It's not about scholar. It's just this. No. What I'm trying to say to you is that.
Yeah, why happened to like using logic? Where did your logic go?
Well, let me.
Logic's there as well. Bro. It's just that there's a healthy debate on this issue.
Let me speak in it. Look, basically, we're disagreeing about the concept of haram and whatnot. What does the term haram mean? Linguistically, haram means something that is sacred, okay? That's why we have the holy mosque in Mecca, because the mosque which is sacred because no sins are supposed to be committed there. Haram in terms of the jurisprudential, legal, Islamic legal theory means something that which is not allowed to do. And if it is done, then you'll be quote-unquote liable for punishment. But then what is the conditions for haram? What makes something haram or halal? There's a consensus that haram is made by two conditions. One is qat'iyyu dalala, i.e. the evidence has to be explicit, and second thing, it has to be from explicit source, i.e. from the Quran or the Sunnah. So if the Quran says do not worship somebody other than me, then that would mean worshipping somebody which is explicit in terms of its signification, and the source which is also explicit, which is the Quran, that would mean worshipping somebody other than God is not allowed. Now the question is, what if you get a disagreement of opinion between the two? Then the Prophet, in the time of the Prophet, there was also disagreements between the companions. Now the Prophet was asked this, and he said, go with where your heart lies. I use your intellect. Your heart, the term we actually used was fu'ad. Fu'ad means your intellect, your inner instinct. Go with who you feel is best. And there's also a hadith which says ikhtilafu ummati rahmatun, which the differences of opinion
is a mercy. And so, brothers, do you not understand the difference why scholars sometimes have difference of opinion? Or let's just say, let me just avoid using the word scholars. The reason why you have this opinion is for loads of different reasons. One reason could be the text could be agreed upon, the interpretation could differ. Number one, another reason why they could differ is the text might not be agreed upon. Someone might say this is not authentic to me. Someone might say this is not authentic to me. So there's so many different reasons why people can have difference of opinion, and that's just part of being a healthy debate, bro.
I understand that, and you know what? Like I respect your intellect still. I'll be honest. Like I like the way you break things down, but be honest, yeah. Look, think about it. If you are going by a scholar says this and a scholar says that, and you're taking your guidance from that, yeah, that's shirk, fam. By your own definition, that's shirk.
Why?
No, you know what? No, wait. He addressed it to me. By your own definition, bro. If you knew me, you would know that I am not on that definition of shirk. You're not talking to a Salafi, bro.
No, by the Islamic definition, I mean.
No. You see, again, you done it again. You see, the Islamic definition. You mean of a specific. Exactly. This is exactly my brother. I know what you listen. It's not your fault.
Nah, it's not about speakers.
No. Leave speakers.
I think he's got a point, to be honest, and I think this is something that's overlooked in the part of.
No, you know what? Is there? Let me just clear. Let me just. Yeah, he asked me. Let me clarify. Let me
just clear up what I'm saying. Look.
Go again.
You guys have scholars that determine, which way you're gonna live your life. Yeah. That is not Allah who's doing it. It's the scholar. So if the scholar says yes, do this, it's halal, you're gonna do it. That is an intercessor. That is a partner with Allah, because Allah's not telling you it's halal.
I definitely hear what
Allah
you're
never
saying,
told you
man.
music's halal. I mean haram. You get me? He never said that in your Quran. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Muslims are running around talking about music's haram. Why? Because the scholar said so.
Yeah, but hold on. Let me just make one quick point, or then you can.
Go on, you first.
All right. What I'm saying is the reason why that occurs, and well, my view of why it occurs is because of the fundamental flaw in understanding. See, what Joe was saying earlier is that it's a communal obligation to learn Arabic, right? That's all well and good, and that may be the actual that is the case. It is a communal obligation, but the point is, if And the point is that if and when everybody does take the time to learn Arabic and has first-hand access to the sources, the only reason why the phenomena you're talking about is occurring is because people don't have access to the sources themselves. The point is every Muslim has a duty in order to inform himself about his or her deen, and that deen means life. The whole kind of everything that pertains to that person, they need to know about it and inform themselves. There's no intercessor. This whole scholar thing was like a later phenomenon. You see what I'm saying? But it's a practical phenomenon in the
I know.
sense that
Yeah,
most people are busy with their lives and rear tear, so they don't have the time to commit themselves to the study.
I agree. It's a new phenomenon. But what I'm saying is, the idols that Muhammad supposedly smashed, have been replaced with the
Supposedly.
The black stone's still there, bro. The black stone's an idol itself as well. Get me? That's been there. So what I'm saying is, like the idols got replaced with these scholars now. So now you've got more intercessors between you and the creator. Yeah, these scholars decide
Cool.
what's going on for you. You get me? That's what I'm saying.
All right, cool. Let me come back to
Yeah,
it.
you keep
So step by
saying
step.
you, but like, there's no one here that's truthful.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
There's no Muslim on this panel that what you're saying applies to. You're speaking generally.
So wait there. One.
Yeah,
Raz
this
is a
is very
Shia.
key.
Raz is a Shia.
Yeah.
So wait there.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
Razak,
you know about you've been watching me,
man.
yeah?
I know about of course.
He does his homework. I got good.
Of course. Yeah, but what I'm saying is, all right, and look, according to you now, simple question: is music haram or halal?
Disagreed upon. There's different types. Some are allowed, some are not allowed. Depends on the
Your
content.
opinion. What do you follow?
I follow that opinion. That some it depends on the form. Some will be classified as cool. Some would classify. It depends what type of music you're talking about. Is it classical? Are you talking about the ones that are encouraging violence? It depends, bro. But as a
Where are you
blanket
getting that
statement, I can't say haram.
Okay, then where do you get that information from? That it depends.
From the hadith on it, from the different interpretations from it, etc., etc.
Okay, so that's not God. Intercessor.
That's
exactly
the prophet. That's the prophet.
But it's
Okay,
not.
cool.
It's not God.
Also, and who's the prophet sent by?
But God gave the prophet a message. Not
Who's the prophet sent by?
Listen, not everything that a prophet says is the message of God. You know.
No, according to Shia theology, is bro.
Huh?
According to you, remember you said you were Shia, so you spoke to me as a Shia. So let's stick to me being a Shia. According to Shia theology, everything the prophet says is according to him.
Everything that Muhammad said is from Allah.
100%, because Allah, he doesn't speak out of desire. Everything, A to Z.
So he doesn't speak from his inclination.
So wait there. So you're saying that Muhammad never ever said anything
I'm
himself?
waiting.
Huh?
Nope.
He never said nothing himself. It was all Allah
Nope.
every time.
All Allah.
What? Okay. See.
Mad thing, innit?
So
Mad
you
thing.
believe that as well?
A lot of them do. A lot of their scholars do.
No.
Disagreement. Depends. Again, the school's broad, bro. So it depends what Sunni you're talking to. Do you get my point?
So for you, there's no difference between Quran and Hadith?
As long as I said it and it's established, yeah. As long as it's proven that the Prophet did say it, and there's no, then it's not an issue. The Prophet's word is taken,
But if I'm right, so Zeriab said not every Muslim is able to get to the resources. Am I right, or was I wrong?
No, he's right. Yeah, no. In terms of these, you see, just what the brother said now, because I like the way his line of questioning was good. Yeah, is that look, when it comes to a lot of these scholars, a lot comes to a lot of these areas. Yeah, you're right, bro. We do go via the scholars, but meaning the scholars. The concept of you're talking about is that extreme aspect of, and Zaryab's good like that as well, because the less the person's biased towards sects, the more you're able to see clearly. And that's the truth of the matter, whether people want to accept it or not.
Yeah,
so
I understand
the
that
Jewish
still.
community before in the Quran, there's been a stress in the Quranic narration. In the Quranic narration, it's stressed upon that the reason why the Jews were destroyed, meaning the way they destroyed themselves, is because of the aspect that they kept following their rabbis. Meaning there was this inclination of, the rabbi said it, so I have to take it. Even if the rabbi would change God's law, they would say the rabbi said it, so he knows more. So
I got you.
Yeah. So, bro, I'm agreeing with you in that aspect. That I'm not saying that Muslim society is not going towards that. I can agree with you on that aspect. However, if you want me to dismiss the whole scholarship based on that, no. What I will do. What I will do for you is I will dismiss this blind following, because that's what the Quran's about. Remember, the issue that you have and the issue that most Muslims should have, but unfortunately they don't, is the aspect of blind following. That's what Allah and the Prophet are against.
But what
So
I'm
if
saying,
I'm
I
taking my
agree.
knowledge, I'll give you an example. Let me finish. If you ask me an example about music or anything, I go to again. I'm going to use the word learned. Forget the word scholar, because scholar throws people off. If I go to someone who's learned and I say, okay, so could you explain this? He goes to me, this is the verse. This is why we take this meaning. This is the hadith. This hadith is proven in this aspect. There's difference of opinion on this, X, Y, and Z. There's nothing wrong with that because he's giving me the tools. Now I can make a decision on it. Do you get my point?
Yeah, but what I'm
And
saying is,
Now, if you said,
and the point is that person.
if you said to me, why are you following a scholar? Why don't you do it yourself? I'll be like, because I don't have the tools to be able to do what he just done to me.
Raza, be honest. You're acting like the scholars are just giving you the tools. No, they're giving you a ruling on it. The sheikhs and the scholars are giving rulings on certain situations.
Let me
That's
tell
why
you.
you've got different task spheres and that. Fam.
Yeah.
Let me
I agree.
So what I'm saying is, I
hold on,
like you
tafsirs
said at the
aren't
start.
rulings,
One
though.
second. Like you said at the start.
Second,
We go via the scholars.
Tafsirs aren't rulings, are they?
Oh yeah, this is very important, brother. One more thing: when a scholar, when a learned, gives his opinion, that's why in the books of fiqh, an opinion is not God's judgment. Repeat after me: as opinion of a scholar is not considered God's judgment. It is considered his own research, and he's giving you the
Very
matter. That's why
important. Very
scholars. That's
important.
very important. That's why whenever a
very
scholar says,
important.
like, I'll give you an example. Whenever a scholar says this is haram, they say, well, Allah alim, meaning, and we leave the rest to Allah, meaning it's yeah, go on.
Exactly my point. So if you understand that point, and then people are following these scholars, blindly, like you said, and
blindly, I'm with you. I'm with you on the blindly aspect.
I've got Muslims around me, bro. Like they follow these scholars like religiously. You know what I'm saying? It's
no,
not,
blindly. No, that's the problem. That's the problem.
What does the scholar say though?
Let me
the Quran
tell
says
you.
that
No.
Allah said this, but what did the scholar say?
No, that's the point. You know why? Why do you think we're so? Why do you think we're so involved in sectarianism?
So what I'm saying.
The reason why we're so involved in sectarianism is because of this reason. Because no one actually wants to go do independent research. Because if you start doing independent research, you might reach an opinion that no one holds, and it will be like, oh, but we can't put you in a box now. So 100%, bro. The aspect of following blindly is condemned. So we're with you on that. But if because of that reason we dismiss everyone, no, we don't dismiss the scholars. But what we say is you shouldn't follow blindly. Do you get it?
All I'm saying is you started off your sentence saying we do go via the scholars, and all I'm saying is the pagans went via the idols too. Get me? My point. Get me?
Yeah, it's a bit of a diss analogy, but I'll let you have it.
But there's a difference between a cultural Muslim then and a traditional Muslim, isn't it?
Yeah, wait, let me answer.
Very good. Yeah, 100%.
Something before.
Go.
There's a Quranic verse. So Allah says in the Quran, do not follow that which you do not have knowledge of. Do not follow that which you do not have knowledge of, because your hearing, your sight, and your intellect will be questioned about it. So even when you do,
okay, then
even when you do,
so we agree with you, bro.
No, I'm just elaborating for everybody on the panel here. So
no, not you, bro. I'm talking about the guy, Ezra. We agree. Yeah, go on.
The question is here. So when you however, at the same time, there is a verse in the Quran which is, "Ask the people of remembrance if you do not know." So then the question is, how do we understand these two apparently or seemingly contradicting hadiths? Now, the simple fact is, if you do not know something, go to somebody who may know, but don't blindly follow him, because you will be independently questioned. God going to be independently question you yourself. And even theologically speaking, there's a whole debate historically whether a blind follower is even actually considered a Muslim. A blind follower, as in somebody who is just born into a Muslim family and just follows blindly what his parents do without actually knowing the reasons why he believes so, or reasons why X, Y, Z. So Ezra, I think, mentioned, that the scholars give you a ruling and that's it, and you don't know why the scholars give you a ruling. So that's the whole understanding of the term fiqh. When we say the word fiqh means knowing the ruling, also knowing how the ruling actually came to be and the evidence.
What you call the evidences, or the evidences behind the ruling. You see, this is a very important this aspect of this aspect of where you just follow. Yeah, go on, sorry, bro, go.
Like family tree, love and all that. Yeah. But I'm tired though. I'm not even gonna lie, you know. You ain't even hitting the like button like you used to, you know. So family, I'm gonna give y'all 10 minutes, right? So when the clock hits 2,
Regardless if you're lot in a mid conversation, I'm hitting that lock off button.
This just gonna take so long time.
Yeah. So you guys, okay? I'm going bed. So you got 10 minutes, B. Love.
Thank you, you're gracious. Thank you, you're gracious.
Love, family, love.
Love. All right, so we got 10 minutes. Let's make use of it. Who wants to go? where was we?
Yeah, man. Let's open it up. Let's get other people on the chat as well.
We need
Oh,
more.
yeah.
Comments, questions.
Anyone hearing it? Because this is the first time that we're kind of hearing it. So we got a couple of heavyweights here still. So let's go.
Well, I think.
Any questions? Anyone want to bring up something?
More random questions, but random topics. But I think there's a difference between a cultural Muslim and a traditional Muslim, as what was last being talked about, and those are like the blind followers they just grow up in. But there's
of course.
Another thing I wanted to say is like when there's so much, there's a group that has so much hate or whatever towards music, for example. I recently found some videos that Muslims have said that they invented the blues and they invented the rock and roll. I think that was quite interesting, and I also find like stuff like an imam that uses rock and roll to praise Allah, and I think, wow, okay, that's like a total different aspect of praising. God. A lot of Muslims are viewing the Islam in a more traditional way, right? But
in a more traditional way.
Let me ask a question.
You know what? As is the last minutes, should we just spend some time maybe discussing the way that there's been like a rise in this anti-Islam kind of narration and vibe around the aura, around channels, etc., or do you lot think is that
okay? Let's do that quickly. But
That's boring, man.
Zorab, what you saying? Zorab, you hardly come on, bro. Zorab, go on.
See, Buddha's got a question, and then Jacob hasn't spoken as well.
All right, cool.
Oh yeah, most of the show now is trying to talk.
Nah, you said 10 minutes, bro.
About the same. It's interesting, yeah. Like, why don't we speak about how comes, yeah, no matter what the conversation is, it always leads back to Islam.
Look who's like Kalam. That Kalam is.
That's why I wanted to go too. Yeah, that's.
You talking?
And there's Muslims on the panel.
You know why, bro? You know why, bro? Because I'll tell you why. Because Islam is so vast. Theology, jurisprudence, history, bro. It's a lot in it. It's a lot, and it's a lot to talk about.
There's a lot of mystery about it as well.
You know what it is?
So many different interpretations. It's vast, bro.
Islam needs to stop like hijacking and trying to like claim black people's history. You get me? You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous. Like that statement I heard someone just say a minute ago, like Islam created rock and roll and all of that. What do you mean? Like, I hear Islam created the first university. No, it wasn't Islam, it was black people. Understand? All different types of black people. It weren't just Muslims or Christians. You know what I'm saying? Timbuktu and Alexandria, all these places, it was built by a lot of different black
Ezra,
people.
you didn't hear Chuck Berry took his shahada before he died? Is that Chuck Berry?
Chuck Berry.
Well, I can give you the damn videos if you don't believe me.
No, but you know what it is. You know when
Chuck Berry was an
Ezra,
alcoholic drug user, and he took a shahada. Womanizer, rapist, the whole lot. They took a shahada before he died.
No, you know, Ezra, I get your point where if there's certain things that are proven for a black community, 100%, there's no need to, if historically something's true, it's true. But I think the main aspect is that today, the way that Muslims get seen, I think people, and the reason why Muslims tend to bring up certain things is because they completely dismiss the cultural and literacy side of the things that they've brought to the table. So when you think of Muslims today, because in the media, you just think of some guy with the long beard wearing some short trousers on some extreme thing. But in reality, if you look at their history, bro, they produced a lot of rich things. And this is the culture that we want to try and say, hold on, bro, why does everyone dismiss that long example, bro? Abbasids. I'm a Shia, bro. I'm not a fan of the Abbasids, but can we deny the literacy type of things that they brought? Can I deny that, bro? No. Because that was the things they brought, bro. The literacy of Baghdad, bro. The
Abyssinian.
you see my point?
You're talking about Abyssinian?
No,
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 no. He said
the
Abbasids. And
Abbasids.
they're
The Abbasids.
from Iraq. But the point
Yeah,
about
so
literacy, I think, is just I also want to make a quick
You're trying to
point
say they created maths?
about literacy. No, we're not saying that. I'm saying that literacy, yeah, and you know this as an Israelite, yeah. Obviously, your tradition has within it, well, you have the Bible as your main source in it, which is shared by Christians, Catholic, and whatnot. Even though you may not associate with them, but the point is, literacy-wise, until the Protestant Reformation, the Bible was off limits for the lay person. It was off limits for the normal person because it was in Latin and no one knew Latin. But you see, difference in Islam is that everyone's taught Arabic and it's encouraged so that you have that direct access. And that's the point that I was trying to say earlier. So it's different. So it's not about, oh, we did this, did that. It's about it's just basic fundamentals like teaching people literacy.
The Bible,
You know what I'm saying?
but what I'm saying is the Bible never written in Latin. The Bible's written in Hebrew and Greek, innit? So, like, Latin is just a translation, just like the Quran is translated into how many languages today. There's no difference there.
Ezra, do you know Hebrew?
Bits.
Okay, so if you don't know Hebrew, then how do you know what your Bible says?
So, because I can translate.
Oh, but
then you need to also translate the Quran from Syro-Aramaic. Like,
wait, that's a separate claim. That's a separate. Wait. So I'm going to
your original Qurans, all your oldest Qurans in the museums, ain't even this modern Arabic that you speak.
Exactly.
You can't even read that. So
Okay, let's stay on that for a moment.
Aramaic.
So the assumption there is that people are taught modern standard Arabic, which is a laughable joke because they're not taught that. They're taught classical Arabic.
Listen,
no one's taught modern Arabic, bro. When they teach Arabic, you know that, right?
Listen, the funniest thing is the Quran came down in perfect Arabic, but none of them can read it. Yeah.
Who told you we can't read it?
Wait.
Can you read the Syriac?
Oh, come on, don't even answer them kind of
Syriac.
In that Birmingham what's it called? Quran. That's found in Birmingham. Yeah, is that the same Arabic you're reading today? Can you read that?
Yeah, it's Hijazi
I don't know what Arabic
font,
it is, bro.
It's
exactly,
Hijazi font.
Go on, Jacob.
Bro, it's Hijazi font.
Oh, Hijazi font. Okay, I'm with you.
He saw this documentary by this guy who's claiming that if you change some of the words in Syriac, the meaning's the same, but the word changes a little bit. Bro, that documentary's been smashed by so many people. Like,
what documentary are you talking about? I don't know what you're on about.
The one that was on
you know what documentary you're talking about, bro. You know
what documentary you're talking about. I'm saying
you know what I'm talking about, bro. Bro, Hijazi font's an Arabic font. What are you on? The one in Birmingham University.
Yeah, exactly. That same Quran.
Hijazi font is Arabic. Yes,
it's
you
not
can read
Arabic
it.
that you read.
Yes,
today.
it is Arabic.
Bro,
what are you on about?
It's a font.
Can you read that?
It's Arabic? A font style.
Yeah.
Listen,
So if I pull something up now and share my screen,
yeah.
You're gonna read it. Can you read it?
Yeah, give it to Joe. Give it to Joe. Joe can definitely read it. Give it to Joe, bro.
Yeah, give it to Joe, bro.
No.
Give it to Joe, bro. I nominate Joe. I nominate Joe, bro. Give it to Joe.
I want all three of you.
No, he wants all three of us to read it. No. I'm weak in Arabic anyway, bro. So my point, it doesn't matter if it's Hijazi or Pakistani. I'm weak in it anyway. Give it to Joe.
All right, Joe. Can you read it?
Wait. First thing is, you've just diverted from my question.
Yeah, Joe. Go, Joe. Ask your question again.
Yeah, my question was this, right? You can't read the actual Hebrew, you can only read parts of it. So you said you have to go to a translation. But my question is, your translation is done by a quote-unquote scholar.
I said I've got a translation tool. Listen.
What's it? So what do you mean by that? So how do you access that?
No scholars, straight AI, fam.
AI built by a scholar. AI built by a scholar.
Wait, do you mean a lexicon?
No, that's a new one, that's a new one.
Do you mean you have a lexicon, Ezra?
That's just my brothers.
Ezra, do you mean you have a lexicon?
No, I don't have a lexicon.
So how
do you do it then?
I use Strong's, or I use the Syrian Hebrew. Hit me. That's what I'm saying.
And who's like the fact that my essential point is this: you were saying to us that, you go through scholars, what that, this, that, and the other.
Prefer you do it yourself. You do it as well, yeah.
That's what
but what I'm saying is, I don't base my beliefs on the scholars. You understand?
All right, you don't.
Listen. I can go and translate myself. I know the Hebrew alphabet. It might take me long, but I can work out every single thing in there. You understand? That's the difference between me and you. I can read it.
But bro. How you gonna, bro?
You don't have much time left, man.
Listen, if I put down the Quran, the original Qurans, none of you are gonna be able to read it. Just be honest.
What are you on about?
Bro, it's the font, bro. You're confusing font with text, bro.
There's no,
No,
there's
wait,
no,
hang on.
there's no,
Joe.
there's no commas.
Don't
Listen, there's no diab.
Yeah,
Listen,
Joe,
there's
can
no
you read
commas,
it
there's no
without the
Raza,
Without the kasra, without the adam and
there's no
kasra.
dots.
Yeah.
There's no.
Oh, there you go. There you go. There you go.
Joe,
Joe can.
Yeah, Joe can read it, bro. Don't worry about it.
All right, and I'm gonna pull it up.
Don't worry, we got Joe, bro. We got Joe, bro. Don't worry.
Now listen, we're gonna test it now. I'm gonna pull up my Quran verse, and you tell me what chapter this is, yeah, and what.
No. And if he does, what happens? If he can read it, what happens?
If he can do it, I'll
It's 2 o'clock.
respect him highly.
No, wait, Joe. Let him finish. If he does do it, then what happens?
Hey, so can we talk about the first century Christians for a second, maybe?
No, but my
Wait,
essential
yeah,
question was...
let's do this test first. Let's
Oh,
see.
cool.
You're not serious. Get me.
But how would you know? How would you know if he's reading it? Because you don't know yourself.
Because I know exactly what.
We all talk about Islam every
Listen,
time.
I know exactly what surah it is that I'm gonna give you.
Bro, I won't be able to tell what surah it is, but I'll be able to read it for you.
So how you? All right, and read it then.
All right, pull it up. But my question is, Ezra, let's say not you, but somebody else who didn't know the Hebrew, how would he access the Bible? He would have to go through translations or whatnot, or quote-unquote intercessors.
Everyone goes through a scholar. He knows it, man.
Listen, there's a difference between a translation and then a scholar telling you and making a ruling on
Yeah.
something.
Okay, cool.
You don't even have control of. You
Yeah, so let me tell you something though. Every translation is an interpretation because words
it is.
Of course it is. You
It
have
is,
to,
it is, it
like
is.
every translation relies upon interpretation.
Exactly.
That's why the
So even when you translate, you do interpret.
yeah, you have to, because certain words are not the same in it. So you're gonna have to find some words to explain that word. Get me?
Yeah. You know what? You can do your test with the things. Can we carry on this online when Kalam closes it? Can we just carry it online or not? Offline, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's cool then. Anyway. Yeah, cool. So yeah, look, in terms of the reading test, that's fine. But what I'm trying to say to you, bro, is that like obviously, if he reads it, he reads it.
Pulling it up now.
In it, like what does that prove though? If he reads it,
nah. When I
it should be legible, right? It should be legible.
No, Joe, it's super legible, but it's actually easy to read.
All right. Yeah. Even though it's got no comments, no dots, nothing.
Yeah, but he speaks Arabic, so you can read it.
Okay.
Go
Like
for
when we
it,
read
man.
Urdu,
Pull it
bro.
up. But hold on.
When we read Urdu, there's no diacritic marks, bro.
All right, I'm reading this
guy.
All right,
Okay. The diacritic marks are only there to help, like.
I'm secretly praying.
Bro, where do you think Urdu comes from? Like, guy.
Comes from where? Arabic.
Bro, how do they read Hebrew without the diacritic marks?
What do you mean?
What, Hebrew always had diacritic marks, yeah?
No, not always. But
oh,
that's
well
the
then.
different.
So how did they read it without it?
Listen, our characters are different to yours. Our words don't
Really? Okay, how do you say?
Huh?
Okay, so what letters are used for Allah?
Or brother.
What's the alpha? What are the letters called, bro? To say Allah, go on.
Allah.
In Hebrew, yeah. I mean, I'm not pronouncing
Elohim
it right.
is power. As is Elohim.
Yeah, go on. How do you pronounce it?
Huh?
How's it written? What's the letters?
What the name of God?
Yeah.
Yahweh.
No. How do you say Allah in Hebrew?
Ola. What do you mean Allah?
Ola.
What do you mean Allah is Allah? It's
okay, how does the Jews say God?
That's similar like Elohim.
It's pronounced the same. Elohim is plural. Allah means power. What are you on about?
I thought Yahweh was a tetragram.
Yeah, but that's the name. The tetragram.
What's
Allah
the letters used?
Listen, Allah.
Bro, why are you dodging the question? You know exactly what I'm asking.
What are you asking me then?
Alif, Lam, and He.
Huh?
Alif, Lam, and He. Why are you acting like you don't know what I'm talking about?
But you just asked me what it means.
I'm asking you the letters that are used, and you're pretending like you don't know why I'm asking.
The letters what are used to make Allah, and I'm telling you,
yes,
Allah
in Hebrew.
is not a Hebrew word. We use Elohim and Yahweh.
It's not a Hebrew word. It's not a Hebrew word, yeah. It's not a Hebrew word. So rabbis wouldn't say it's a Hebrew word.
Which rabbis?
Okay, I quote you. If I quote you the rabbis,
listen, I'm not. Listen, I don't deal with. Listen, we deal with ancient Paleo Hebrew.
I thought Elohim meant gods in the plural.
Yeah, he's God.
Like Kalam, you can turn it off, but keep us offline, Kalam. Yeah.
Of course, my brothers and sisters. So family tree. We've unfortunately reached the end of tonight's session. We've gone over the 2-hour mark, and Kalam is pretty much so tired, and he wants us you guys a very farewell. And I hope
I will see you guys tomorrow. To all my Muslims out there, Assalamu alaikum. To all my Hotepas out there, Hotep Haro. And to all my Hebrews out there, Shalom Shalom. And to everybody else, I apologize for not knowing your culture. Peace and love, family.
Yeah, sleep well, dream well.